Ladies and gentlemen, it is Tuesday, January 27th, 2026. Here's what's coming up on the Owen Report today. We are going to hear from President Trump. He spoke to the media before he went to Iowa, where he is set to have a, rally. We'll call it a rally. It's not a campaign rally, so it's just a presidential rally. And I guess this is part of Susie Wiles' plan to have Trump on the campaign trail during the midterms. You know, you'd think when you have the power, when you have the White House and the Senate and the House, but specifically the White House, you'd say you lead from the front, you lead from D.C., and that's how you win elections. But when your approval rating is going the wrong way and the policy decisions aren't very popular, I guess you got to go back out on the campaign trail. So that's what they're going to do for the midterms. It's really amazing, isn't it? And this may come up again because there's a common factor here when we talk about Noam, when we talk about Bondi, when we talk about Susie Wiles. If you really want to extend it, you can go on to Caroline Levitt or Marian Adelson. There's a common factor, folks. And we called it out here first. We got attacked. It may come up again, but we will hear from President Trump. He talked about the investigation into the Pretty, is how we're saying his name now. It's Pretty, into the Pretty shooting. And then some comments as far as what the administration is going to be doing moving forward, dealing with the deportations, dealing with the protesters. The whole thing is a mess, and I'll get to the news, but I'm going to kind of lay out. It's time to just take a pause and just look at the chessboard as far as this whole situation is concerned. Because we're so reactionary, we're so responsive, and it's always moving. We forget to just stand still for a moment and look at what's really happening. So we're going to do that. We got a bunch of other news here that we're going to cover as well. Before we hop into our geopolitical news, a lot of geopolitical news today. Middle East, Europe, trade. A lot of that in the stack today. Even a little bit of Russia. Maybe not in the way you might anticipate, but even a little bit of Russia in the stack today. Now, you know that the Owen Report likes to really go into news, analysis, current events. We don't do too much of the conspiracy theory anymore. We don't go into it too much. But every once in a while, something pops up in the news feed that I think becomes worthy to bring in the old conspiracy theory factor into the show. And it just kept popping up on my timeline, and there was enough evidence to at least bring it to your attention and start asking some questions. This whole snow, this whole storm that we just witnessed, was it organic? Was it man-made? What's in the snow? Could it be part of a larger operation? We're going to be investigating that today. We're going to be giving you the evidence that certainly has caught my attention. But see, the problem is it's like when you live in this world so long, you realize that, conspiracy theory usually, eventually, it becomes true. And so you just kind of take it and it's just like, yeah, here we are. But every once in a while, one is so overwhelming that it makes you think. It makes you think where maybe you wouldn't normally say, oh, man-made blizzards, man-made snow, weaponized snow, stop it. Normally, that would probably be the sane person's response. But every once in a while, something becomes so convincing that you just can't help but wonder. We also got an update. Political persecution of Enrique Tarrio continues. He's going to join us shortly in the third hour. And it's debate night tonight. I'll be debating tonight. So we'll have an update on that. All of that and more coming up on today's Owen Report.
This news update was brought to you by OwenSchroyer.store, the official site for Owen Report merchandise.
All right, guys, so it's before the show here, and it's the most convenient thing ever, my CovePure water filtration system. Why is it so convenient? Well, it's moments before showtime, and I was just really wanting some coffee. But I didn't really have time to brew the pot, so I wanted some instant coffee. Didn't want to warm up water, didn't want to deal with the mess. But my CovePure water filtration system, one button, and I've got scalding hot water. That's right, just one button, and it will give you clean, filtered water, scalding hot, ready for your coffee, your tea, your hot cocoa, whatever it is. One button. I don't know how it does it. I'm actually a little skeptical. I kind of want to open this machine up and see what's really going on in there. This thing is so futuristic. It's so scientifically advanced. I'm actually getting a little suspicious of my own system, I have to tell you. No, this thing is incredible. One button gives you hot water. The other button gives you ice cold water. You can actually customize the temperature you want your water. You can customize it. This is crazy. In a water filtration system, but what about the actual water? Well, it's the best. 99.9%. Folks, anything that's not water, this thing is getting rid of it. 99.9%. If it ain't water, it doesn't make it through the system. Now, the complaint that water snobs have when you have filtration systems like this, they say, well, you're getting rid of the good stuff, the pH balance, the alkaline. This system realkalizes the water before you drink it. It's from the future. I'm convinced. You hear a lot of talk of time travel. I think that this water filter is from the future. So join me in the future with the CovePure water filtration system. I didn't even mention the convenient pitcher that is connected to it. It has a self-filling pitcher. It fills itself up. You can't make this stuff up. You get to watch it happen right in front of your face. CovePure.com/Owen. That's where you can get it. Join the future of water filtration now by going to CovePure.com/Owen. I'm telling you, folks, it's the best water filtration system you're going to get. It's from the future. But now you can bring your kitchen, your water filtration process to the future by going to CovePure.com/Owen.
On the cutting edge of news and analysis, the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
That's nice. No, I'm not. It's not an issue of laziness. I see you in the comments. I've made the mistake of having my chat open to start the show. It's not an issue of laziness. I just don't have time. You guys, okay, I'm 5 seconds late. You guys are complaining about the time. I don't have time to brew coffee. I got to get my instant coffee. You know that. I got to get my instant coffee. So yes, I push one button, and I don't have time to heat up water. I don't want to hear it. All right, guys. So I've got my stack of news, and I was sitting here trying to decide how I want to attack this today. And I'm thinking, why don't we just go right into it, play the Trump clips? And they were doing something on MSNBC, now MS Now. They were doing something earlier today, and it's just like, this is what they do. And look, I get tired of it. I'm sick of the left-right paradigm out of Washington, D.C. with this administration, because it's like, hey, why are we talking about the left-right paradigm? It should just be the right paradigm. The left has no power. And I'm sick of this administration blaming things on the liberal this, the liberal that. Shut up. Do it. You're in power. We voted for you. I thought we learned our lesson already. But no. I'm sitting there. We see what the liberal media does. Now they're doctoring images of Preddy. They're putting up stories and emphasizing stories that otherwise would just be a normal, everyday law enforcement. So it's all by design. It's all weaponized. There's no doubt about that. But it's like, we understand that. We don't want this administration dealing with that. We don't want this administration responding to that. We're supposed to learn to that and move on. We're supposed to be advancing to the next level. And it's like, you guys like it now. It's like, I see Caroline Leavitt blaming everything on the liberal media. It's like, you like it now. It's your scapegoat for everything. It's your excuse. So I'm saying, hold on then. Let's just take a pause. Let's just take a pause on this ICE issue. Let's just take a pause on this deportation issue. Let's just take a pause and do the broad system analysis. Because quite frankly, it doesn't matter who it is. The establishment, whoever is in power, they don't like it. They love throwing all the different objects at us. They love having all the different bouncing balls and distracting you with the shiny objects. And we forget to be still and say, hold on a second. Let's just look at the larger picture here. So that's what I'm doing. And I'm saying, okay. What is the administration really doing? What is the administration really doing? Does it really want mass deportations? Well, it seems to be selective. Once the donor class, big business, big industry, big agriculture, the service sector, once it started to impact the donor class and their bottom line, they got on the phone and they called President Trump and they shut it down. They said, we can't have these deportations. You're coming into our factories. You're coming onto our farms. And so Trump came out and said, we can't do it. And now he's doubled down, tripled down. There's been new statements talking about this. So the deportations are selectively enforced. That is just a fact. Now, if you're a purist on this issue, you don't want to hear it. It's if you're here illegally, you're getting deported. That's it. End of story. And you have to respect that. And I think that you have to be honest that was I don't know if you want to say promise, but I mean, that was the idea. That was the concept during the campaign that Trump was pitching to the American people. We were going to deport them all. Sorry, they all got to go. So yeah, we needed millions of deportations. Tens of millions, quite frankly. And we're not getting them. Okay, so they say, we're going to focus on the violent criminals. We're going to focus on the bad guys. We're going to use the different security systems that we have, AI, Palantir, whatever it is. And we're going to use these systems, and we're going to find out who the real bad guys are, who the real threats to the community are, and we're going to go after them. Yeah, okay. So the purists, they don't like that. They wanted everybody deported. But you look at it from a strategic standpoint and you say, okay, yeah, let's get the bad guys out first. And we will deal with the rest once we get that figured out. Okay. So then you got this situation in Minnesota. And again, we get distracted by the noise and the bouncing balls and everything. What is going on in Minnesota? Why is it Minnesota? The deportations are happening everywhere, folks. They're happening everywhere. And it's not just It's not just, oh, well, Minnesota's a blue state. Well, it's happening in other blue states too, and you're not seeing it. So there's something going on in Minnesota, and I don't understand. Maybe it is a nothing burger, but it's like George Floyd and now this, and it's just, what is the deal with Minnesota? The fraud. Well, we don't know, but we know that the focus is on Minnesota. And so it's hard to think that that's organic. It's hard to think that that is not part of something else that's going on here. Whether they want you distracted from the fraud investigations in Minnesota, I don't know. I don't really buy into that theory because there's bigger fraud in California. There's bigger fraud in Texas. There's bigger fraud in Illinois. There's bigger fraud in New York. So I don't think it's a distraction from the fraud story. What is it? What is it about Minnesota that they want these people out there protesting on the streets? Why did they decide to make it about Minnesota? They could have chose any state. Any state they could have chose to say, we're going to organize, we're going to activate, we're going to put people on the streets. So why Minnesota? Is it because they have an inside source in Minnesota that's giving them the intel to disrupt these things? Is there something else that's going on? Is it a testing ground? And now you watch it, and it's not even about deportations anymore. Now it's just protesters standing off against ICE, which is, quite frankly, completely unheard of. That ICE, their job, their duties, immigrations and customs enforcement, their job is to go in there and apprehend criminal, illegal aliens and move forward the process of deportation. And now they're out there squaring off against protesters? Very strange. Very, very strange. So you have to ask why. You have to ask why. It doesn't add up. It doesn't make sense. There's something else going on in Minnesota, folks. And maybe it's multiple things. Maybe there's multiple factors at play here. But let's look above. Let's look above it all. Are we serious about deportations? Are we serious about immigration enforcement? And really, if you're being honest and you're just judging this administration and their practices and you're saying, okay, how serious is the Trump administration about deportations? How serious are they? Well, they're not that serious. They're not that serious. I think they're serious about getting bad guys out. I do think they're serious about that. I think this administration is serious about getting the worst criminals out of the country. I do think they're serious about that. But as far as deportations go, as far as illegal aliens go, they're really not that serious. They're not at all. And the proof is right in front of you. It's right in front of you. And I'm pretty sure still Barack Obama had more deportations as far as a rate of the first administration. Obama was stronger on deportations than Trump. So, yeah, okay, that's kind of telling. But maybe there's some other factors. So maybe you don't really weigh that one too much. Maybe you don't look at the numbers and say, well, maybe Obama had better numbers than Trump. But it's kind of like if you're arguing, maybe who's the better quarterback. And one quarterback had 3 Hall of Fame receivers, and the other quarterback had a bunch of no names. It's like, well, yeah, he put up better numbers, but he had better receivers. So, okay, maybe you look at the numbers. Obama has better numbers, and you say, well, there's other factors at play there. So, okay, maybe you let that one slide. But here's where you can't let it slide. And this is just the bottom line. This is just the fact. This is just the bottom line. And this is why it's all a big distraction, what's going on in Minnesota. And I'm not saying there's not real news. I'm not saying it's not a real story. But is this administration serious about deportations? Is this administration serious about immigration enforcement or not? And the answer is no. And the proof is in the pudding. When the donor class can call the White House and say, you have to stop deporting our farmers. You have to stop deporting our factory workers. And the administration says, okay, then it's not that serious. Even more so, and perhaps the strongest point here, why is it that the businesses that are hiring illegal alien workers have not been punished? So there it is. That's the truth. That's the truth about the Trump administration. That's the truth about the deportations. That's the truth about whether or not this administration is taking immigration law seriously or not. And now you're in this crazy hotbed of political commentary where it's like you can't even report the straight up facts without somebody getting their feelings hurt. So you report this and, the big MAGA community or whatever's left of it freaks out. Oh, how dare you? Oh, you're a liberal now. Oh, you stand with the protesters now. It's like, what? No. We're just discussing facts. And these are the facts. Now you have the debate. Do you say we need the illegal alien workers, so we keep them around? Do you say the businesses that are hiring them, they were fooled? It's not their fault? So now you're making the argument that illegal aliens are necessary for the country to run, which is, of course, ironic because that's the liberals' argument. That's the argument of the left, that immigrants built this country. So the Trump administration is trying to get the worst of the worst out. I guess there's a lot of them in Minnesota. And for whatever reason, these left-wing groups have decided to make Minnesota the place where they make their stand. Maybe that's because they have something to hide. Maybe that's because they have the best infrastructure up there in Minnesota right now with the Democrat Party, which seems to be the case. And we've got some other evidence that would suggest that maybe that's the reason why they've chosen Minnesota to have their standoff. But then you go to the highest level. Now you go above it all. And this is where the Trump administration, to me, has completely failed and continues to fail. And in fact, I don't even know if they're going to show up for the test, quite frankly. I don't even know if they're going to show up for the final exam here, folks. So you can have the debate on everything we've just laid out. You can have that debate. But to me, this is where the debate ends. And this is where, are we going to be serious about this problem or not? Conversation begins. Why has Alejandro Mayorkas not been arrested? Simple as that. I don't want to hear excuses. I don't want to hear them. I'm not even going to bother coming up with all the different excuses in my head. I want an answer to the question, why has Alejandro Mayorkas not been arrested? That's the question I want answered right now. And then I would also ask, because Trump is apparently friendly with the mayor of Minneapolis now, and I would ask, why haven't sanctuary city mayors been arrested? I just want an answer. Just give me an answer to those questions, please. And I'd love to have somebody bring this up to Caroline Leavitt. If any of my friends in the White House press are listening today, do me a favor. The next time you guys get access, maybe it's to President Trump, the next time you guys are at the White House press room and Caroline Leavitt is taking questions, I want these questions asked. Why has Alejandro Mayorkas not been arrested? Why have the mayors of sanctuary cities not been arrested? Why? Oh, don't tell me. Again, I'm not listening to the excuses. I'm not listening to the noise. I want an answer. I want an answer. Alejandro Mayorkas facilitated the largest land invasion in the history of the world at our southern border for 4 years. He's the one that brought in the criminals. He's the one that brought in the gangbangers, the rapists, the murderers, the drug dealers. Mayorkas did that. And if you really want to get serious, you're going to go after the NGOs. You're going to go after all the different charities and church groups and everything else that facilitated it. You're going to go after all of them if you're serious. Now, this might be a little bit much for Pam Bondi. Let's be honest. This is probably a little bit too much for Pam Bondi. Between the different Fox News segments and the hair and makeup and whatever else she's doing, she obviously can't handle this. I'm not even sure if she can comprehend any of this, quite frankly. In fact, I don't even think I've heard Pam Bondi say the word sanctuary city. I don't think I've ever heard Pam Bondi address Alejandro Mayorkas. I don't think she's ever said any of these things. Well, I guess that's the problem then, isn't it? I guess that would be the problem right there. So I just want these questions asked and answered. I want to hear why. I want to know why, from this White House, they are not going to go after Alejandro Mayorkas and they are not arresting sanctuary city mayors. I want to hear why. Let me hear why. And don't tell me you can't. Of course you can. You just went in and captured Maduro. I don't want to hear a damn thing about you can't. You 100% can. So why aren't you? I just want to know. If we're serious about fixing illegal immigration, if we're serious about punishing the people that brought in all the illegal aliens that's leading to this mess, that's leading to this disaster, and now we're sitting here dealing with it on the ground level, we don't even know what to do. So if we're serious about this stuff, I want to know, why hasn't Mayorkas been arrested? Why haven't the sanctuary city mayors been arrested? Are we going to be serious about saving our country or not? Oh, I know you guys are busy right now planning an attack on Iran. I know. You're busy right now dealing with the Israel lobby's demands for regime change in Venezuela and Iran and who knows where else, all over the world. Syria, Nicaragua, Honduras. You guys, it's okay. We know. We get it. So we know you can do it. The answer is, why aren't you doing it? We want the answer. Why aren't you doing it? We know you can. Whenever something needs to be done regime change wise, you guys can make that happen. Really clean now, too. I mean, real clean. You're trying to keep it clean as possible. So we know you can do it. Why aren't you doing it? I want it asked and answered. I just want to know. I just want to hear why. So all the pandemonium, all the chaos, there'll be more death. I bet you 100% there will be more death because of whatever's going on. The protests, the ICE raids, all of it. There will be more death. Why aren't we going after the sanctuary city mayors? Why aren't we going after Alejandro Mayorkas? And why aren't we going after all the different groups that facilitated and caused all of this and are now funding it on the streets? I just want it asked and answered. And maybe they don't have an answer. And if that's the case, well, that's pretty revealing then, isn't it? That's pretty revealing if they don't have an answer to that. And it just shows why we have all these different issues and really why the right wing can never attain true victory. They can never attain true victory because they're sitting here dealing with the surface level issues instead of dealing with the root cause. Now, we've got statements from President Trump on this. He's in Iowa right now. He's going to be doing a campaign speech later because that's what we need. You know, we need Trump back on the campaign. The policies, the approval rating is so bad right now that we have to send him back out there to the campaign to try to drum up some momentum, drum up some support before the midterms. Hey, listen, Susie, Listen, Susie Wiles, you can have Trump campaigning every single day for the rest of the year until the midterms, and it's not going to move the dial. If you want to move the dial to get Republican victories in the midterms, it's time to start enacting policies that the people want and that the people like. I mean, I could name 5 probably right now off the top of my head. All you got to do is go forward with the successful, popular policies. That's it. Should we name 5 real quick? Well, I just told you 2. Go after Mayorkas, go after sanctuary city mayors. So we'll count that as 1. Here's 1. Cut taxes. No, I don't mean reshape. I don't mean change up the tax bracket. I don't want to hear about a big refund incoming. That's money you stole from me. Cut the damn taxes. Make property taxes illegal. How about that? Make property taxes illegal. There you go. So there's 2. How about actually give us the Epstein files? How about go full transparency? Actually release the Epstein files. There's 3. How about get us out of the Middle East? Stop the regime change wars. We'll combine all those. We'll combine those. We'll make those 4. How about that? And then here's one more for you. Actually go through with election integrity. 1 person, 1 vote, 1 voter ID, paper ballot counted by hand, make it law. There's 5 policies right there you can win on. And Susie Wiles makes what? Millions of dollars to do what? Put Trump on the campaign trail? This is how we win the midterms. So I'm going to say this once. And I know that people have been offended by this. But you know what? The fact that people are offended by this tells me that it's true. The bimbo administration has to end. Bimbos are running the show, folks. They're running the damn show, and they're running it into the ground. Get the bimbos out. Noam, Bondi, Wiles, Adelson, bimbos. Get them out. Sorry, you're offended by that? Sorry, ladies. Sorry to the female audience. You don't like that? Well, don't blame me. They're the ones making you look bad. They're the ones that are making women in politics look bad. Don't blame me because I'm calling them out. Don't blame me because I'm sitting here looking at faulty leadership and, oh, what do you know? They're all bimbos. Don't blame me. If you're offended by that, that's because it's true. So that's how I feel about that. You might even say I feel kind of strongly about that, but I continue to be proven right, don't I? Seems like I am now continued to be proven right on that issue. Get the bimbos out. Get them out. Put serious, competent men in charge. You notice where the men are in charge, stuff is getting done? You can like Scott Besson or not. He gets stuff done. You can like Steve Witkoff or not. He gets stuff done. You can like Howard Lutnick or not. He gets stuff done. Notice that? Greg Bovino out there getting stuff done. Oh, that's too much. Call him back. Call off Bovino. He's too good out there. He's too serious dealing with these people. No, it should have been get Noam out and put Bovino in charge. Instead, the bimbo stays, and now we're cutting deals with the Democrats. The bimbo stays, and now we're cutting deals with the Democrats. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. But that's it. That's what we're getting. Can't deny it. Cannot deny it. So let's go now to some of this audio Just a couple clips here from Trump before he departed for. So here he is talking about the investigation into Predator, who was shot this weekend and killed.
Do you believe that Alex Predator's death was justified?
Well, you know, we're doing a big investigation. I want to see the investigation. I'm going to be watching over it. I want a very honorable and honest investigation. I have to see it myself.
So, okay, he supports the investigation. I mean, look, guys, it becomes this both sidesism, and people forget that, you know what, sometimes there is nuance, sometimes there is gray area. Preddy being out there with a gun, getting into a skirmish with law enforcement. Apparently it wasn't the first time. Yeah, you know what? Play stupid games, win stupid prizes. Okay. I don't have to come out here and say, oh, Preddy was all in the right. He's innocent here. No, he's out there interfering with law enforcement. He knows what he's doing. He's getting into a skirmish with ICE. He's playing stupid games. Now, he has a Second Amendment right. He has a First Amendment right. And he was killed probably unjustifiably. So both of these things can be true. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to become a political sides issue. It becomes a, hey, let's look at what happened and be honest about it. Preddy was playing stupid games and he won a stupid prize. But he was also killed unjustifiably. And I think everybody knows it. I think the administration knows it. It looks pretty clear at this point. He was already disarmed. Gun misfired. Agents freaked out. They killed him. So you can understand the agents' point of view. They don't know what's going on. It's chaotic. They got all kinds of crazed radical leftists out there blowing whistles. Some of them are armed. They're threatening them. They're throwing objects at them. It's a crazy scene. Gun goes off. They freak out. Boom. Guy's dead. You can understand the side from Preddy's perspective. He's saying, all right, I didn't have a gun. You killed me. I didn't have a gun. I was unarmed and you killed me. Well, you put yourself in a bad position. So, I mean, folks, again, you look at both of these killings. I think they're going to do everything they can to protect the ICE agents in these circumstances. They're going to do everything they can. And you certainly understand. I think we have to understand the conditions that they're working in. It's not an easy job. It's not an easy job. Sometimes thankless. Sometimes you put yourself in a bad position. It's part of the job. But when you look at these shootings, folks, 2 shots fired after the vehicle was beyond his body, that's going to be tough. That's just the fact. That's going to be tough to justify, killing the woman in that circumstance. Again, woman, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. She's dead. She ain't coming back. With Preddy, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. He's not coming back. But he was unarmed. And they shot him how many times? So what do you do? You have to clean the streets before you do these operations now. That's the problem. You have to clean up the streets. You have to get these people off the streets. And you say, well, they have a First Amendment right. Well, they sure do. Nobody's denying that. Nobody's denying their rights. But when you have a well-funded, well-organized, I would say criminal group that are intentionally sending people out in the streets to interrupt and disrupt and try to stall ICE operations, no, you are now a criminal organization. That is now a criminal act. If I am funding and organizing to intentionally put people in the streets to disrupt law enforcement, that is now a criminal operation. So it goes right back to Pam Bondi. If Pam Bondi cannot clean up these streets so that ICE can do their job, then nothing is going to change. Nothing is going to change. You have to go after the organizers. You have to go after the funders. You have to cut it all off. You have to charge them. And you have to clean the streets so that ICE can do their job. Pam Bondi refuses to clean up the streets. It is not the ICE agents' jobs to clean up the streets. You already know you're not getting cooperation from local law enforcement. You already know you're not getting cooperation from these Democrat states. You know that. So you, Pam Bondi, have to clean up the streets so that ICE can go do their jobs. And she's not doing it. So now you've got 2 people dead. You've got ICE agents under investigation. And it's a disaster. It's a mess. And you can't even get basic deportations. And it's really a shame. It's bad leadership, folks. It's bad leadership, and it's Pam Bondi. And it couldn't be more obvious. So Trump was talking about the bad guys. This is the agenda. This is who they're trying to get off the streets.
If you remember, I probably got elected more than anything else on the border. We had a border that was open with 25 million people coming through with an open border policy, which was insane. And that's the policy that caused the problems that we have. With all of that being said, other than, I would say, just to put it accurately, Minnesota, and in particular Minneapolis, because it's not all of Minnesota, every city that we've gone to has been, like, literally crime has gone down 50, 60, 70, 80. In Washington, it's gone down. There's practically no crime. You know, Washington is a great example, but you take a look at other cities, Memphis, Tennessee, the crime is down 78%. And you know where else it's down? It's down in Minnesota. It's down in Minneapolis, and it's down very much because of the fact that we're there. So we can't lose sight of the fact that we have to take murderers and drug lords and people from mental institutions that were dumped into our country.
Dumped into our country by who? By the way, let me just, can I say something for the entire country? Can I say something for the press and people that like to follow political news? Can we change the process of asking questions before Trump gets on Marine One, before the president gets on Marine One? I'm sick of these damn sound bites, and I have to listen to frickin' helicopter engines behind me. It's obnoxious. Can we just move the press either like right into the room or just like, can we just not have to deal with these engine sounds? It'd be really nice. Thank you, guys. It's like, why this has been going on my entire life. We put the press right behind the engines, and then we give the president the opportunity to take questions from the press right behind the engines, and it's just engines blasting your eardrums. It's obnoxious. What are we doing? Am I crazy? Am I taking crazy pills today? So now we go back to the question, is this administration serious about these deportations? He says we're not getting cooperation. We're not getting cooperation in Minneapolis. We're not getting cooperation in Memphis. So you have the power of the federal purse. Cut the federal funding. Why are we playing games with these people? I don't get it. Why are we playing games with these leftists? Take away their federal funding. Stop playing games. You want to be daddy? Take away their allowance. That's all you got to do. You actually take away their federal funding, they will capitulate. They will fold so fast, it'll happen overnight. They don't want that. They don't want their states to go broke. They don't want their cities to go broke. They don't want those welfare dollars to dry up. That hurts them politically. The average person, they don't really give a damn about what's going on with ICE. Please. Cut off their federal funding. Stop playing games with these people. Are we serious about deportations or not? And now Trump is bragging about he's having conversations with Tim Walz. He's having conversations with Mayor Fry. And then, oh, he has a conversation with Walls, and oh, he has a conversation with Fry, and now Greg Bovino is out. Are we letting these leftists take a scalp? Are we letting the leftists take a scalp of one of the serious men that are running things out there? So it's like Walls and Fry. No, it's like, all right, who's out here really doing the work? It's Greg Bovino. Okay, let's tell President Trump we'll work with him a little bit, but he has to get rid of Bovino. And then we capitulate? And then we give him a scalp? How about, oh, what's that? You want to negotiate? Oh, what's that, Mayor Fry? Oh, what's that, Governor Walls? You want to negotiate? I got a great idea. I'm going to send my team out there. I'm going to send U.S. Marshals out there. I'm going to bring you in, and we're going to put you in jail, and we'll negotiate from your jail cell. How about that? Do you want to play games with these leftists, or do you want to get serious about saving the country? Do you want to play games with these Democrats, or do you want to be serious about arresting political criminals? So that does not look like a win to me. No. A win to me is Tim Walz in a jail cell. A win to me is Mayor Fry in a jail cell. And you say, well, we can't do that. Why not? Why can't we? Again, I want to know the answer. Why? Why can't we? Did Tim Walz not take part in a massive fraud operation in Minnesota? Did he or did he not? Did Mayor Fry turn his city into a sanctuary city, aiding and abetting criminals? Did he or did he not? Do you want to play games with these leftists, or do you want to get serious about saving the country and arresting criminals and deporting illegal aliens? What do you want to do? Oh, but see, they got exactly what they wanted because Pam Bondi is totally incompetent. They wanted dead protesters. Now they've got you over the barrel. You gave them exactly what they wanted. They send out their useful idiots. They send out the retard liberals, and they're out there blowing whistles and banging cowbells and playing bongos. Ooh, we're stopping ICE, yeah. And sure enough, now two of them are dead, and now they got you. Because Pam Bondi couldn't clean the streets, because Pam Bondi couldn't shut this stuff down. So now they got you. And now you're going to give them the scalp of Greg Bovino. And now you're going to call them to cooperate. Oh, I don't remember the Biden administration calling local governments to cooperate when they wanted to arrest 1,500 January 6 protesters. I don't remember them needing cooperation. They just did it. Oh, but we're better than them. We're doing it the right way. Oh, really? Let's see how that works out for us after another 4 years. I thought we learned the lesson. A couple other statements from Trump here before we close out the first hour. We're back on foreign policy. I am pleased to report that Venezuela is releasing its political prisoners at a rapid rate, which rate will be increasing over the coming short period of time. I'd like to thank the leadership of Venezuela for agreeing to this powerful humanitarian gesture. Well, that's great. We still have political prisoners here. We still have Tina Peters, political prisoner. We still have Dexter Taylor, political prisoner. We still have political prisoners. All the January 6 protesters, not all of them can even get full pardons. I've got Enrique Tarrio coming on in the third hour. They're coming after him, political persecution. But hey, glad to know that the Venezuelan political persecution, I'm glad that Trump is addressing that. That's good. Winning some favor over there. Now, Iraq. I'm hearing that the great country of Iraq might make a very bad choice by reinstalling Nouri al-Maliki as prime minister. Last time Maliki was in power, the country descended into poverty and total chaos. That should not be allowed to happen again. Because of his insane policies and ideologies, if elected, the United States of America will no longer help Iraq. And if we are not there to help, Iraq has zero chances of success, prosperity, or freedom. Oh, here's something for you. I don't care. Gee. Isn't this now, of course, Who is this message on behalf of? Benjamin Netanyahu. That's who. They don't want Maliki in power because he's not friendly with Israel. They don't want Maliki in power because he's not friendly with Netanyahu. Now, he could be a disaster. He could be a tyrant. He could be a bad person. But that's not what this is about. This is all about Israel. This is all about Israel and its influence and dominance in the region. The smallest country there, by the way, with the most influence. Oh, and I can already hear it. Oh, and they're the more noble. They're better. I don't care. They can be the best in the world. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I'm sick of being involved. I'm sick of U.S. blood and treasure being involved. I'm so over it. And I'm so over the fact that my president has to send out these messages because the Israeli lobby tells him to. Oh, and I love just to show you how fake it all is. Oh, if you elect him, the United States will no longer help. Oh, don't threaten me with a good time. Now I'm rooting for him. You mean if they elect this guy, the United States will get out of Iraq? Sweet. Can't wait till he wins. But see, notice how that same logic doesn't apply to Iran. Notice how that same logic doesn't apply anywhere. It's the reverse, actually. It's, we'll get it. We will get involved because we don't like your leaders. So now it's, we'll stop being involved if we don't like your leader. It's just a threat. It's just an Israel lobby penned threat from our president. That's all it is. That's all it is. So, but here's what they do. And how much more of this do I have? Well, we got a couple more on this. Let's see how further we can take this before we close the hour. But this is what they do. And I noticed them doing this on the media today. ICE arrests more than 200 people in Maine during federal enforcement surge. Homeland Security did not answer follow-up questions about those arrested in Maine since the first day of the operation. So there's a couple things to understand about this. One, it shows you how these operations are happening all over the country and nobody's making a big fuss. Nobody's organizing these big protests. Nobody's trying to disrupt the ICE operations. It's only in Minnesota. Why? Why is that? It's a fair question. But then the other issue, and this is what I was noticing earlier today. I'm watching the news, and they had that headline, 200 people in Maine arrested by ICE, and they had the headline on MSNBC, MS Now. They had the headline on CNN. Local news, this is a local affiliate. Local news running it. And I'm sitting there and I'm saying, well, okay, why are they doing this? Because it's all part of drumming up the protest, drumming up the anger, drumming it up. This is just normal ICE enforcement. Illegal aliens, you're here illegally. You commit a crime, you're going home. This is normal operations. But they hype it up. They make it seem like, it's like a racist thing, or it's a xenophobic thing, or it's the fascist authoritarian regime of Trump. So they drum up this liberal anger. They drum up this leftist hatred, and they see it. They say, oh my gosh, look at what they did in Maine. This is everyday law enforcement. And there's the weaponized media sending these brainwashed leftists into a frenzy. And then they go out and they get killed. And again, it's like we know exactly what happens and nobody stops it. So here you go. We got a couple reasons today. A couple reasons today to avoid hospitals at all costs. It's really unfortunate.
He's gonna die.
You got to say it's really unfortunate. So this is some leftist here, CHOQ.Health. Okay, this is how the left is responding to all of this. If they work in a hospital, very good.
I thought of something good. I think it's something weird. Sabotage tactic, or at least scare tactic. All the medical providers, grab some syringes with needles on the end. Have them full of saline or succinylcholine. Whatever. That will probably be a deterrent. Be safe. Okay, for today's resistance tip, I vote.
They're talking about weaponizing hospital care against ICE agents, against people that support ICE.
Anybody got any poison ivy, poison oak in their yard? Get some of that up with gloves, obviously. Get it.
So I guess the Hippocratic Oath meant nothing to you guys, to care for everybody, no matter what. You always take care of people. I guess that meant nothing to you people, huh? So there you go. It's just, I can't deal with them. Melania Trump calls for unity after Minneapolis shootings in rare interview. All right. Now, look, I'm going to do a little both sidesism here. I'm okay with the first lady doing this. And I'm not, it's like we do need some level of saying, hey, can we calm this down? All right. We do need some level. We do need some element, at least in a good faith effort, to say at least we tried. So fine, send the first lady out there and okay, whatever. But again, it's like, did we learn nothing? Have we learned nothing? There is no unity with these people. Did you just see the last video? They have these liberals. They're in hospitals, doctors' offices, child care centers, all of this stuff. And they talk amongst one another and they post these videos and they say, hey, you find out there's an ICE agent. You find out one of them is a Trump supporter. You do harm to them. There is no unity with them. I thought we already learned this. So again, whatever. First lady comes out and calls for unity. Okay, fine. You did it. It needed to be said. Somebody's doing it. Okay. But let's not pretend like this is real. Let's not pretend like these people are interested in unity. These people are interested in disruption and chaos. That's all. There's no unity. It's like we've learned nothing. You think giving them Greg Bovino's scalp in Minnesota, you think that's going to calm them down? You think Trump saying we're investigating these shootings, Melania saying we need you think any of this is going to calm them down? Have you learned nothing? Do you not understand who these people are? Apparently not. And then I'm sure you saw this. What is this about? And now, look, I've got a theory here, and, people might not like it. But I call it as I see it. So remember how they did Joe Rogan, and they manipulated the color of his face to make him look sick after he recovered from COVID using ivermectin. So now they're doing something similar to the nurse that was just shot, Preddy. So this is the original shot. This is his official ICU nurse badge headshot, I believe, right here. And now this is what they're showing in the media. Now, to be fair, I don't know where this started because it's been all over the internet. So, but they have used this on mainstream cable news. They have used this image right here. But I don't know if that's where it started. I don't know who did the original doctoring. Let's put it that way. I don't know who did the original doctoring. So people are saying, well, they're doing this to make him look, I guess more handsome. His head isn't as elongated. His nose isn't as, I don't know how you want to say it. But so they use AI to kind of clean him up and make him look a little better. Now, here's one for you. And I don't know nobody knows, I guess, whether this man is Italian or Jewish or whatever. No, I have a theory that they wanted to make him look less Jewish. Yeah. I think the liberal media knows that these leftists hate Jews or distrust Jews, maybe. So I think the liberal media said, we can't have a Jewish martyr. We can't have a guy who looks Jewish as a martyr. Let's clean him up. Let's clean him up a little bit. Let's make him maybe look a little more Italian. Preddy, we'll sell it as an Italian American. No, I think the liberals, this is my theory. Same reason maybe they pushed Shapiro out. I think the liberals said he looks too Jewish. So let's make him look less Jewish. We don't want our martyr to be Jewish right now. It's just not a good look. That's my theory. That's my reasoning. All right, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with James O'Keefe and some other ICE updates. with the situation on the ground. We're going to come back with that. We're closing out the first hour, and then we'll be back with a clip from James O'Keefe and some other updates from the ground.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
All right, guys, you probably already saw it. It's in my mug today. I'm drinking my Blackout Coffee. It is instant coffee today, by the way. blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. They have a big sale going on, folks. You know, the instant coffee is my go-to, but right now, 15% off 1 box, 20% off 2 boxes, 25% off 3 boxes, 30% off 4 boxes. I got the 4 boxes. My pantry is it's filled with this stuff. 32 single-serve packets per box, by the way. So you're good. You're good for a while. But yes, I am drinking my Blackout Coffee today. It really came through in the clutch because, it's been cold here in Austin. And so I just turn off my AC. So my house was like in the 50s all day. But the studio was a little cold, and I was like, I need some coffee. I got to have something hot to drink today. Studio's a little cold. Didn't have the time to brew a pot, and I thought, oh, yeah, Blackout Instant Coffee. There it is, right there for me. Premium instant coffee. If you're a coffee drinker, how good does that sound? Would you like instant coffee? Of course. Would you like premium instant coffee? No, there's no such thing. Yes, there is. blackoutcoffee.com/Owen. Premium instant coffee on sale right now. Take advantage of this huge sale. There's a reason why it's a 5-star review, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why it's a 5-star review. Find out for yourself. Find out why I'm drinking it right now. By the way, the official mug here, blackoutcoffee.com/Owen, the official coffee of the Owen Report. This mug right here, also from Blackout Coffee, the official mug of the Owen Report. For our coffee drinkers out there, we ask you and we thank you for making Blackout Coffee your official coffee, as it is the official coffee of the Owen Report.
It's America's home for political play-by-play. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
Oh, yeah. We're committed. We're going all in. with the video game music. No, it's the best. It's the best. All right, guys. By the way, don't forget tonight, debate night. I'll be debating Shabbos Kestenbaum tonight. Adam King will be moderating. We'll be reposting that on the X feed. Stay tuned. I'm calling it America First versus Israel First. So stay tuned for that. That'll be an hour after I sign off the show. We'll be having that debate. So looking forward to that. All right. So James O'Keefe, he's been on the ground in Minnesota. And he's discovered some interesting things. So he was on the Megyn Kelly show. He's in studio here, or I guess he's in his own studio, broadcasting into Megyn Kelly's studio. I believe she's in the Sirius XM headquarters in New York City. But here's what O'Keefe had to say about something he has discovered being there on the ground.
And I am shocked and amazed at how organized they are. I've never seen anything like this. Every vehicle downtown, they're able to track, run the plates, confirm who they are, get their ID, like they did in my case. They ran my license plate. We're trying to figure out how they're able to do that, where they have someone on the inside of a rental car company, et cetera, and communicate with each other about it. And when I got out of my vehicle...
Now, by the way, what he's saying there is actually extremely important. They have somebody on the inside. Now, he leans towards, he thinks maybe it's at the rental company. I would lean towards, I think it's somebody in local law enforcement. And that doesn't mean, that could mean a lot of different things, right? There's a lot of different elements of local law enforcement. But that's what I think. I think they've got somebody with access to these databases inside local law enforcement. And maybe that's why they chose Minnesota, because they have so many people on the inside that they can run a full spectrum disruption of these operations. But O'Keefe has determined they got somebody on the inside. He leans in and towards, he thinks it's the rental cars. I think it's local law enforcement.
Cool. This is like 11:30 in the morning, just after the shooting and before the autonomous zone. Within seconds, there were 5 of them standing outside of a relatively inconspicuous vehicle, interrogating me, asking to see my identification. So I got to give them credit, Megyn. I've never seen anything in my life. I don't think any of us have ever seen a group of people more organized. And I warn people, because people are tempted to say, well, this is funded. And honestly, Megyn, what I think and what I believe to be true is there isn't some one boogeyman funding all of this. It's a loose network of NGOs, some of which indirectly get funds from our government, but people actually really believe in their cause. And it's a cause that it appears to me that they're willing to live and die for, which is, I think, more terrifying than one guy funding them in a transactional way.
Which is why Pam Bondi, as she said she would, needs to be shutting them down. I mean, folks, don't even get me started. You know the guy that did the fundraising for the border wall? What was his name? Like Tim Shea or something? I apologize to the individual. I forget his name. It was Tim Shea or something. He's still in jail for trying to raise public funds for the border wall, which was really successful. The people that organized actual permitted rallies during January 6th and the night before, they got charged and arrested. And that was all permitted activity. What a disaster Pam Bondi is, guys. It's really unreal, isn't it? It's really unreal. Hey, you know what? Maybe the whole thing's just a test for their AI systems. Maybe the whole thing's a test for their security state, their AI system, their surveillance data. Maybe that's all it is, and maybe that's explaining it. And, maybe this explains it. Is your Ring doorbell footage going straight to ICE's massive spy network? So maybe that's all this is. Maybe this is just all one big AI surveillance test, pitting the left against the right, and law enforcement and street protests and facial recognition and cell phone data and camera data. It's like, how much can we process all of this data? How fast can we process all of this data and have it available at real time to law enforcement to either subdue a situation, get intel on a situation, move on a situation? Well, I would say whether or not that is the main thrust of what's going on, it is certainly happening. It is certainly happening either way. And they've already basically come out and said that, oh, yeah, we're using big data. We're using AI to help initiate some of these arrests. And look, technology can be used for good or for bad. So it's not inherently a bad thing. But is it like, okay, is this another thing where they're just using the people as cannon fodder? Just using the people as cannon fodder to test their own AI systems, their own AI algorithms? You know, I got to say, so much of this, too, this is probably not even the best example. But so much of this is like, if you've ever seen the movie Nightcrawler, which is a great movie, but more important than even the movie being great, it's this concept of having intelligence, but instead of using it to stop something bad from happening, you use it to let something bad happen and then be there for the response mechanism. So it's like, yeah, we know all of this is going to go down. We're not going to stop it, but we're going to be there ready to implement our agenda after it happens. A lot of that going on. Now, Ken Klippenstein has a pretty big story here today. ICE unloads, immigration officers speak out, F this. Now, a lot of this, I think, is in response to the Trump administration kind of stabbing Bovino in the back. I think a lot of the ICE agents are feeling that the administration is hanging them out to dry and putting them in a position to fail. And so they're starting to unload in some of these interviews like they do here with Ken Klippenstein. But they're talking about how bad leadership is. They're talking about how they feel like they're not getting any help from D.C. They just send them out there, and it's just total chaos. So he's unloading here. Multiple ICE agents in that story. I want to move a little faster. I've spent more time on this than I wanted. We got a lot of news today. One person in critical condition after being shot in incident involving Border Patrol in Arizona. The individual is in custody and receiving care. So again, it's like, you're not hearing about Arizona. You're not hearing about this. No protests, no big news coverage, no nothing. So that's how you know it's there's something. There's a game being played in Minnesota, folks. There's a game being played. All right, let me guys, let me do a news blitz here. Let me see if we got any updates. All right. They're going to de-escalate. That's just great. So you're not getting mass deportations. That's fine. That's good. Guys, let me do a news blitz. Let me do a news blitz here till we get to the next topic for the sake of time. And you know what? As this develops, just to kind of put an end to it, as this develops, if Trump decides they're going to pull out of Minnesota, okay. Now hear me out. If they decide they're going to pull out of Minnesota and give the left a victory, fine. But you better counterpunch and you better say, okay, your federal funding is cut off. And anything short of that is total capitulation. And anything short of that is giving the left a victory and telling these left-wing terrorists and telling the funders and the organizers of it, the real criminals, telling them that, hey, this works, go ahead and do more of it. Now, why in the hell would they do that? Why in the hell would they give the left a victory? First, you give them Bovino. Now you're going to pull out. And I'll say it. I will accept it. I will accept Trump standing down in Minnesota, but then you better let the Democrats run that state into the ground and let it collapse. Sorry. Sorry to our friends in Minnesota. I'm sorry. This is how it's going to have to go. Hey, fine. You don't want ICE removing violent criminals? You don't want to cooperate with us? Fine. Okay, we're out. We're pulling our operations out, and we're cutting off federal funding. Good luck. You guys deal with it. Anything short of that, this is a total loss. And by the way, I'm not betting on that. I'm not betting on that. Just to be clear. Just to be clear. Texas governor halts new H-1B visa petitions by state agencies and public universities. Yeah, you got all these foreigners here. They're teachers, and they work in the government. So, okay, all right. Hey, Governor Abbott with a victory. A rare victory for Abbott, huh? Yale to offer free tuition to families with income below $200,000. An expansion of Yale's financial aid program will also cover all cost of attendance with families of an income below $100,000. That's interesting. Is this another attack on white students? Is this another Ivy League university attack to make sure that no white students can get in there? Amazon to close Amazon Go and Amazon Fresh to concentrate on Whole Foods and grocery delivery. I understand people don't like Bezos and Amazon and the whole thing, and that's fair, and it's hurt the mom and pops. There's no doubt about that. But you have to admit it's been a successful business model. There's no denying that. So they've had these grocery delivery services, and they kind of revolutionized it. Everybody's, at least here in Austin, now even all the local ones are starting to do grocery delivery or different options. So they've kind of turned that into a mainstream deal with grocery services. But I think, in my opinion, what happened here, the Amazon Fresh, it wasn't the same product of Whole Foods, and people realize that, and it's like, we want Whole Foods. So it looks like Amazon Fresh, as they say, it just wasn't as popular. So they want people to focus on Whole Foods. Probably a smart move. Now, grocery delivery, it's like, can you really trust it? Probably not, but okay, it's convenient when you need it. But really, this to me is Amazon kind of reacting to their consumer that doesn't like the Amazon Fresh options, and they prefer the Whole Foods options. So they're going to be kind of ending the Amazon Fresh stuff and focusing more on Whole Foods, which probably a smart move for them. Amazon doubles down on online grocery delivery and Whole Foods market expansion to reach more customers. So if you do Amazon Fresh, it's not over for you. It just means you're going to be going to Whole Foods delivery now. Now, you may have seen this. I didn't cover this last week. It never made the final stack, but it's back in the news today. And, folks, this is just crazy. How can they get away with this? This is at Walmart, and they're allegedly, this man's video claims, this is part 2. He already did one last week. He goes back, he does part 2. He's claiming that they are rigging the weight on these products. This seems like a pretty big ordeal.
Another one, 5.62, 2.53, 4.80, 1.71, 5.1, 5.51, 2.41. I think I have enough. It's time to go see management. Let's see what they have to say about it. That's ridiculous. Those are walking out the door. People are throwing them in their cart and they're walking out the door with them. And Walmart is paying the weight price on those, but they're actually weighing what I just weighed back there. That's what Walmart's paying for. So Walmart is profiting off of these. Well, one thing we know for sure is definitely a problem with Kentucky Legend. They'd be the next place to investigate. I mean, that's absolutely insane. Why aren't they checking them? They are responsible for that. They are responsible for it. Why do I have to come in here and be the controls? I can't believe I found 6, 7, or 8 in 30 seconds.
That's crazy.
Can you try this one? So what does that one weigh? Oh, you scanned it. Yeah, 2.32 pounds. But look, this says 5.41, and then they're charging people $4.98 a pound. That's over double, right? That's one. I appreciate you.
So could be a major scandal opening up here, folks. Could be a big scandal. Speaking of scandals, we all kind of had a feeling, if not an experience with this. Google settles. You hear this? Google settles lawsuit for $68 million following allegations of secretly recording smart device users. Now, to me, that's Google admitting that they were doing it. The class action lawsuit claimed Google Assistant inappropriately recorded private conversations without hot words being used, meaning you're supposed to trigger the mechanism to turn on, and it was just always on recording you. So Google's paying $68 million to settle a class action lawsuit. So to me, that's them admitting that it happened. They're settling it out of court. A preliminary settlement was filed on Friday in San Jose, California federal court, but still requires approval by U.S. District Judge Beth Labson Freeman. The tech giant was accused of illegally recording and disseminating private conversation after its Google Assistant tool was triggered so it could send them targeted advertising. All right. I think everybody understands the story. Now, how many in the audience have had, I have the chat open now. How many in the audience have actually had an experience like this? Is it 100%? Because I know I have. I've had it so many times, it's unbelievable. Things where it's like, it's not even something I do. Like, I remember one where I was with some friends. I'm not a winter sports guy. I don't go skiing. I don't snowboard. I don't do any winter sports. I'm not a fan. And I was just at dinner with some friends that are into skiing, and they were talking about a ski trip. And I open up my phone, and advertising for skis and skiing gear pops up in my feed. So, yeah. Your phones are obviously listening. What do we do? I mean, it's kind of becoming one of those things where we just accept that this is part of the 1984 world that we're in. It's like, I know this is spying on me. Of course I do. How bad is it? Netanyahu, there's a viral video going around, images of Netanyahu. He keeps all the privacy stuff on his phone. He's got tape over all the cameras and everything. It's like, yeah, are people spying on you? Are they on your camera? Can they turn on your camera? Do your TVs have camera? What else? What else can they spy on you with? How many devices do you have in your house that are spying on you? And then sending that data somewhere, sending that data to a foreign country, sending that data to your government, sending that data to private corporations. How much is this going on? Because it is going on. How bad is it? Do we need to be talking about this? Do we need to be making a bigger deal out of this? Do we need to be thinking about privacy measurements in our house? And look, it's like, I can sit there and say, because I anticipate I'm being spied on 24/7 with this at the very minimum. At the very minimum. I try to make sure that if I buy a new TV that it doesn't have a camera in it, but who knows? Who knows? So it's like, I just accept that I'm probably getting spied on, or they if somebody wanted to access all of my cameras, whatever, they could do it if they wanted. So it's just like, okay, whatever, you act accordingly. But how bad is it? Are we already in the AI spy grid? Is it already 24/7 around the clock sending your life's data to some hub that then disperses that to 30 other different data processors? Do we have a problem with that? Do we need to make a bigger fuss of that? Do we just accept it now? This is the AI God. This is the 1984 George Orwell future, and we're just in it, spied on 24/7. Seems to be that way. Seems to be that way. All right, guys, Trump is speaking live in Iowa. We're not going to go there. But this is the new midterm campaign because, you know, things are going so bad that we have to send Trump out on the campaign trail. By the way, we're gonna have another story coming up today about the AI, the penetration of your privacy, your life. We're gonna have another one coming up today, later on in the third hour. Now, I want to get to focus on a story coming up here about this snowfall that we just had. We're going to get a little conspiracy theory on the snow that we just had here in a second, and I got some wild videos that we're gonna share with you here coming up. All right, pet owners, or you might not like that word, pet owners. Do we say pet owners, or is that like a problem now? If you have pets, listen up. If you have pets and you love your pets and you want them to be happy and healthy, listen up. You need to hear from our friends at RESOVX.Health and their product, Petmectin. For years, we have fought to access to medicine that we knew would help COVID for humans, but what about our pets? Did you know that ivermectin for pets assists with heartworm prevention for dogs, for cats? It also treats intestinal worms, roundworms, hookworms, other external parasites like mites. A lot of people spend a lot of money, folks, to take care of their pets and deal with these issues. We have another option for you. Petmectin is 100% pure pharmaceutical grade, human grade ivermectin. This is the highest quality, third-party tested, and most affordable ivermectin offered in America. So pet owners, go to RESOVX.Health. You can see the link and on the screen, the website, RESOVX.Health, and use coupon code OWEN10 for an additional 10% off. You heard that right. Coupon code OWEN10 for an additional 10% off Petmectin. And while you're there, they want you to check out some of their other great products where the science, folks, is really starting to come out in favor of how great some of these products are, like hydroxychloroquine, fenbendazole, and so much more. But you got to go. If you're thinking about your pets, you're spending a bunch of money, you hear about the different worms, parasites, the different intestinal parasites, heartworm, all of this stuff. People spend a lot of money. Instead, just go to RESOVX.Health and try Petmectin. In stock right now, highest grade ivermectin for your pets. And there's so many products there. Again, folks, they want you to check them all out. But right now, they have the special going. Coupon code OWEN10, and you can get 10% off Petmectin. You love your pets. You love your animals. You want them to live happy, healthy lives. Keep them around as long as possible. That's why you spend money on your pets. That's why you deal with these different worms and parasites. Go to RESOVX.Health. Try Petmectin. 10% off right now with coupon code OWEN10. We all love our pets at home. We all love having our furry friends around as long as possible. So make sure you're doing everything you possibly can to keep them as happy and healthy and sticking around by your side as long as you possibly can. RESOVX.Health, Petmectin, 10% off with coupon code OWEN10. All right. So how many of you were following this snow conspiracy theory? And, I saw a lot of these videos. It popped up again on my feed today, and I said, all right, let's go with it. Let's present it. Let's see what people think. Let's see what people are saying. There's some pretty serious evidence. Now, obviously, weather modification goes on. Okay, so the conspiracy theorists, they went on that. Weather modification obviously goes on, and then you just argue about the different intent, the different involvement, the different levels of it. And then you wonder, okay, is it being weaponized? Why are we doing it? You can do it for good. You can do it for bad. But let's just look at some of the stuff. And this will make you, your kids, tell your kids to never eat the snow. You used to think, oh, eating snow, it's fun. Well, not after you see these videos. So these are people putting some of the snow under a microscope. We're going to show you a couple weird stuff here.
This is nuts right here. I'm also in the snow melt today. Okay. It's not alone. There's many, many more. Took some good close-ups of that guy. There were some bugs swimming around in here earlier, but it's kind of drying off. I'd have to reload it, which I can do.
I kind of cut the ones with the bugs because I just wasn't sure about those. And I don't know, that could be normal. So I didn't include all the different ones where they show a bunch of bugs going around and, eating one another or eating microbes and stuff. And who knows if that was even, people take old videos or different videos and claim it's nothing. So I didn't add any of the bug stuff. Here, let's go to another one under the microscope before we show you some of the weirdness. Because a lot of these people, they're just picking up the snow and they're saying, this is not normal snow. But here's another one under a microscope. And
so we are going to do a little experiment. Thanks to my friend Tiffany, I'm going to give you a shout out for even giving me this idea to test the snow that we see. So I'm going to take you guys outside with me. We're going to collect a little bit of this snow here. What's happening? So, all right, guys, we're getting set up to check our snow. Let's see what kind of shit they're putting in this. Not that I'll be able to know what they're putting in it, but we should just see water, right? That's all we should see. Let me adjust my condenser here. Okay, so I'm going to let you guys watch me do this so nobody says I'm doing anything weird. We have our clean microscope slide. We have our fresh snow from outside. And we are just going to put a tiny bit on there. So little rocks. All right, I need a top cover slide. Jojo, relax, buddy. There ain't nothing out there. Okay. Let's see. Turn you guys over here so you can hopefully see what I'm seeing. All right, let's start. Ooh. Fuck is that? Weird. Wow. Let me show you guys this. I'm going to flip this camera around. All right, guys. This is really weird because these are not ice crystals. You can clearly see that that is water on my slide. Okay. These look like effing parasites or some type of plastic. And we are seeing these strange X shapes, okay, which look very similar to me, like a chromosome marker. See how shiny blue these are? This is how heavy metals show up in the blood.
So now she's showing you.
Now, just to be clear, everyone, this is what snow and water are supposed to look like under a microscope, not the strange shapes and shiny material that we just saw. Now, on top of all the strange stuff that we just saw in the snow, I've been in here messing with the microscope now for at least a half an hour. Check it out, guys. Why is the snow not melted? It's 70-some degrees in my house. I have a fire going. This should be melted.
All right, now we'll get to that in a second. Now, part of my hesitation when I first saw this was, and I'm seeing some of the commentary in the chat today. It's we all kind of have to be careful, take it with a grain of salt, whatever. It's hard to reach any conclusions. But I saw enough of it where it's like, okay, something seems off. And humans still have instincts. Part of the war on humanity is to destroy your instincts. This is why they put all the chemicals in the food and water that destroys your gut bacteria. That's why they say go with your gut, because it's literally passed down. Your gut is literally passed down from generation to generation to generation. It's passed from your ancestors. That's why you go with your gut. You go with your instincts. So it's like we still have some instincts left. But it's like, whatever. I'm not a scientist. I'm not some expert at looking at snow and all of this stuff. But they put a pretty compelling case when you go forth and look at all the different videos. They put a pretty compelling case that something is off with this snow. And that's why I chose that video, because she shows you what snow would look like under a microscope compared to what she's seeing. So, okay. But this gets to like just the human instinct level where people are just saying, what the hell is this stuff? Look at this.
Don't eat the snow.
Don't eat this snow at all. Chemtrail snow.
Wow. Has anyone seen snow do this before?
All right, we're gonna expose some fake snow here. Let's go. Let's see if this melts. All right, we got our snowball here. Let's see if this shit melts. Burning black. It smells like plastic.
See it? It's not melting. Look at it, it's burning.
Okay, look at this. The snow is not melting. It's just getting black and smelling. This smells horrible. It smells toxic.
It's true. It doesn't melt. It's turning black.
I see a lot of you in the comments saying you're going to try it now. There's more of this, guys. I mean, I can play these compilations for
real time
hours.
Y'all know me for real. Yeah, yo, this shit ain't real, G. We done brought this from outside, brought it to the 4th floor.
So there you go. Now, I'm not reaching any conclusions. I don't know what to think, but I'd say there's enough compelling and convincing evidence out there that just says something ain't normal. Something ain't right. Something ain't right about this. And if you want to get real conspiratorial, they have the ice. They have the big ice raids, the big ice story, the big ice storm. It's all happening at the same time. I mean, the script writers are working overtime on this deal, huh? I mean, they are really working overtime. We're doing the ice story and the ice storm at the same time. Just a coincidence, I suppose. So I don't know. I don't know what to think about it all. It's very strange. Now, when you follow this stuff, as unfortunately I've been following this stuff for years, when you follow this stuff, there's certain trends, there's certain patterns, then they always pop up. They always pop up during these strange weather phenomenons that our instincts, our gut just tells us something is off. And here's one of them. Now, I chose to take the images here instead of the actual live radar feed, but this is the sequential radar feed from Kentucky. And there were a couple others, but out of nowhere, this starts to swell. Out of nowhere. And remember, we even saw some snow nados. Am I coining that term? Did anybody say that? Snow NATO? We had snow nados in Texas. I don't know if that's ever happened, a snow NATO. We had snow nados. The storm in Austin was wild. I mean, it was a full-blown storm, thunder, lightning, and it was raining ice, but whatever. That's not where this is coming from. So you had these weird pings on the radar. Every time there's a wild weather phenomenon, this same crap happens. Now, there were some other pings that had a different response where it just looked like, but it was the same area, and there's something generating weather in this area. Is what it looks like. That's what it looks like on radar. So this is the one image. There was another image where it just looks like a smokestack, but this was all happening before the snowstorm. So I don't know, folks. That's just weird. Our gut, our instincts tell us something is off about this. We know they can manipulate the weather. We know that. So the question is, are they doing it here? Why are they doing it? And if you want to get real conspiratorial, all of this lines up with what happened in 2020. Big snowstorm, big ice storm, and then the bat virus breaks out of the Far East, comes here, and starts a pandemic. Now, that's getting ahead of ourselves. But just keep it in mind. Just keep that in mind. All right, let me hit some geopolitical headlines here, as many as we can before we close out the hour, bring Enrique Tarrio on. As Trump shuffles global order, UK Prime Minister heads to Beijing. So I guess Trump has angered all the European countries. So they're now either posturing that they want to cut deals with China, or they're going to give Trump the middle finger and start cutting deals with China. Not exactly good for the trade war, you could say. EU and India clinch mother of all deals in rebuff to Trump. So again, the EU, these European countries, they're moving east. They're going in India. They're going into China. They're trying to do trade deals. And this is all in response to Trump's trade war. There is no doubt about that. It's all still hanging in the balance, by the way. We're waiting for the Supreme Court decision on Trump's tariffs. Stung by Trump, America's top trading partners shift gaze to China. Some U.S. allies are weighing closer ties to Beijing as they seek alternative markets. See, this is why, and they have this, well, and it's two conflicting issues, the phrase of isolationism. That's a term that the Israeli lobby and the Israeli loyalists in the media use to scare you away from supporting more war in the Middle East. So you understand, these words are weaponized. So when you see the neocons talking about isolationism so that you support war, that's a totally different issue with the trade deal. Either way, isolationism is not inherently a bad thing, and probably something America needs for a generation or two. But now you see why these trade deals are such a ripoff, and really America needs to become isolated. It does. It does. We need to isolate ourselves for trade, production, manufacturing, and resources. And we need to isolate ourselves from disastrous foreign policy that costs blood and treasure in far parts of the world that most of us will never go to. So in other words, our allies who have been screwing us over on trade, our allies who have been using our military and our money for their own benefit, and now our allies are going to stab us in the back because we're looking for fair and equal partnership in trade and in military support. So I say, screw them. I'm done, man. I'm done. If these European countries want to screw us over, and then when we come to the table and say, hey, we'd like something fair, and they say, fine, we'll go to China, screw them. Get out of NATO. Pull all of our military bases out of Europe. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of being used and abused by these foreign countries. Pull us out of NATO, pull our military out of Europe, put them all in Greenland, just claim it's ours. Screw Europe, man. And I know there's the whole identity factor. Oh, well, these are our ancestors. These are our brothers. These are our allies. I'm sick of it. I don't have any allies. I'm an American. I'm a rugged individual. I believe in self-government. America versus everybody. Screw them all. We're better than all of them. We created the best system in the world, and now the whole world is abusing it And our people have turned into slaves. Screw them all. Let's sit here and watch the EU stab us in the back. So sick of it, man. Oh, boy, oh, boy. How are things going over at CBS? Barry Weiss unveils sweeping vision. I'm here to make CBS News fit for purpose in the 21st century. Well, we all know what the purpose is. But Barry Weiss, it's not going so well. So she had an emergency meeting this weekend, or she called an emergency meeting this weekend. Weiss rallied the troops and outlined her vision at an all-hands meeting Tuesday morning. Again, bimbo, naming a lineup of new contributors. Our strategy until now has been to cling to the audience that remains on broadcast television. If we stick to that strategy, we're toast. So in other words, she's looking to aim their propaganda at the youth. But none of this even matters. Her job is to get in there and turn CBS into another pro-Israel news outlet. That's her job. She can't even actually effectively run. She can't actually do her intended job because that's what her real job is. So there's all kinds of internal issues. There's all kinds of internal chaos. There's all kinds of people underneath her that are like, what the hell is going on? How does she come in here out of nowhere, $150 million? Nobody even knows what she's doing. So she's calling these emergency meetings to try to save face. It's toast. It's toast. Nobody wants to go watch CBS. And you can try to redirect things to digital outlets and to the youth, but as long as your loyalty is to use CBS as a propaganda tool for Israel's purposes, you'll never recover and you'll never succeed. But of course, it's not about money. It's not about success. It's not about ratings. It's about Israel. So we know that. Oh, but go figure. Another bimbo that is going to have an entire company collapse under her watch. You watch. This deal is going to fall apart. It'll be like CBS, or it'll be like CNN's app. Remember, CNN did an app, and then they did CNN Plus, and then they had like they brought in the guy from Fox, and then it was a total disaster. All of this stuff fails. All of this stuff fails. Bimbo. I'm sorry, I can't help myself. I can't help myself with that one, guys. Spare. Just allow me. Okay. It's funny. TikTok censorship claims spark California probe of apps handling of anti-Trump content. So Gavin Newsom claims he's going to be investigating TikTok because they're censoring on behalf of Trump. Well, that would make sense with the deal that was made. So Trump lets Ellison or whoever it was that ended up getting in charge of TikTok, I forget. It's hard to keep track of all the different Israeli assets running things now. So Trump lets Israel's interest take over TikTok, and the deal is, hey, I'll make sure this deal goes through. You're going to censor on my behalf, and I'll let you guys censor on Israel's behalf. Deal done. He's going to be investigating. Oh, yeah, the Democrats are so concerned about free speech now. Yes. And they're actively censoring the word Epstein. Now, there's all kinds of different examples of this, but this is the two sides of this conversation from America to Europe. So the American sends Epstein, and it gets blocked. So you see it doesn't show up here. So you can't. So now the word Epstein is apparently being outright blocked on TikTok. So how do you like that? We all knew that was the case. We all knew that was the cause. They turned over TikTok from the Chinese communist interest to the Israeli interest. Trump cut the deal, said, I'll allow this deal to go through. You guys can make sure that the youth doesn't see what you're doing in Gaza. You guys can try to use Israel to propagandize the youth. We covered some of it yesterday. The evidence is everywhere. It's not going to work, by the way. It's going to totally fail. They've already lost, folks. They've already lost the hearts and minds. They're trying to recover. It's done. It's over. But that's the agenda. So it'll fail. And then the censorship will just be more obvious. And apparently people are getting rid of their TikToks. You know, I thought about this. In fact, I was dealing with some other business issues today. But I was thinking about reaching out to my social media girl and just saying, hey, look, do you think should we just get rid of TikTok? I mean, we do all right there. We got like 15,000 followers and we post some content. Every once in a while it goes viral, but it's just like, I just want to be like, hey, do you even think it's worth it? Is it even worth it? Should we just get rid of it? Like maybe do one last post and say, this is why we're leaving TikTok, and then just leave it there. And then I can have her refocus efforts into other social media endeavors. I was thinking about that. I'm probably going to have that conversation before the end of the week. But people are apparently getting rid of their TikTok. That to me is something worth doing to send a message. Now, I don't really, it's different for everybody. I don't really use TikTok. I'm never on there. Like I said, I have a social media girl. She runs all that. I'm basically TikTok illiterate, retarded, whatever. She just puts my content up there. It does decent. But to me, I'm just like, if she says, I don't know, or I'm just going to say, just get rid of it. I'll just shoot a video and it'll be like, here's why I'm not posting on TikTok anymore. And I'll have her focus her effort somewhere else. Because to me, it's like, yeah, let's take a stand. Now, it might be different. If you make a living on TikTok or you do non-political content and stuff, I know people that do pretty well on there, and that's fine. But to me, it's like, if you're going to start censoring my geopolitical content, which we never had any censorship on TikTok. We never had any censorship on TikTok until after the deal was done and they started removing my geopolitical content. And so it's like, look, if they're just going to start censoring geopolitical content, then screw it. But we'll see. We'll see what the determination there is. But it's something I think we're going to consider this week. All right. I got a big stack still left of geopolitical news. We're going to take our second hour break here. We're going to take our second hour break here, and then we've got Enrique Tarrio coming up on the other side. The political persecution of Enrique Tarrio continues. So we're going to bring him on in about 5 minutes, talk about that, get back into the final stack of news we have, read your super chats, and then I'll get ready for the debate tonight with Shabos Kestenbaum. That's going to be an hour after we sign off. So still a lot of work to be done here. Busy day on the Owen Report. We take the second break of the show, and we'll be right back with Enrique Tarrio on the other side.
You're listening to the Owen Report on the Win Network.
It's the fastest 3 hours on the internet. It's the Owen Report with Owen Schroyer.
All right, guys, joining us any minute now is going to be Enrique Tarrio and the political persecution of Enrique continues. And so I had to invite him on. I said, look, is there anything I can do? Do you need some airtime? Do you need to voice this? He said, I'll take anything I can get. I said, all right. I'm always going to stick by my fellow politically persecuted individuals. And so we're going to be doing that here in just a second, as soon as Enrique joins us. Hey guys, I got to tell you about something here that, quite frankly, I've become obsessed with, and to such a degree, I actually just ordered something today. I ordered something today, folks. Have you gotten into red light therapy yet? Have you gotten into it yet? And, you know, a lot of this, you see it. I got the Red Light Pro 600 today from my friends at myredlight.com. And I want to thank them for hooking me up. Because I'm going to basically I'd like to have a red light room, quite frankly, but I don't have the room in my house. I just said, hey, I need the biggest panel you got. And they said, we got you. So I've got the Red Light Pro 600 on my way. And I've become obsessed with red light therapy. But I want to tell you something that happened the other day. I saw this girl on, and they got all kinds of different packages there, by the way, for you. I saw this girl on a flight, and she was in her stewardess uniform, but she looked like really young. And I was like, excuse me, man, are you a stewardess? And she said, yeah. She was sitting next to me. I guess she was just hopping before she went back to work. And I was just kind of stunned. I was like, this girl looks really young to be a stewardess, like the youngest stewardess I've ever seen. I said, okay, that's weird. And so she sits down, she takes out a red light mask and puts it on her face. And I said, well, there it is. This is why she looks so young. It's the red light therapy. This stuff is incredible. You can see all the science, myredlight.com. I put the knee braces on almost every day. It's, you know, they got the hat too. They got the hat. You guys, men, I'm not going to say it. We all know what it's for. We don't need to say it. We know what it's for. myredlight.com. I've become obsessed with this stuff for recovery. It's just incredible. There's so much science that backs it, folks. I've really become obsessed. myredlight.com. Big shout out to our friends over there. Try it for yourself, folks. You'll find out why. I've become a bit of a red light addict, you might say. I'm going to have a red light room, hopefully someday. All right, joining me now is Enrique Tarrio. Enrique, we spoke earlier, and I just saw you post an update, and you said that you were getting persecuted again, and I can't have that. I can't have our boys getting persecuted like that. We gotta at least let people know your story. So what's going on, Enrique?
So what's crazy is, and awesome to be on here, Owen. Great. But let's start from the beginning. This all started on December 12th. There was a Black Lives Matter banner that was burned, and I admitted to it 2 days later. And because of that, I got arrested on January 4th. Well, by coincidence, on January 4th in the morning, I got sued for a Black Lives Matter banner. So I represented myself in the case, and I find out on the third time I went to court, I find out that the banner that was burned is not the same banner I'm being sued for. So that banner, I didn't even know where it came from, where this place was located, nothing. So I said, you know what? I'm going to fight this case and I'm going to beat them. No problem. Well, the problem was that I got arrested for January 6th, and the Bureau of Prisons doesn't bring you down for civil matters. So every time there was a hearing for this civil matter, the judge is like, oh, well, Enrique Tarrio didn't appear. So put me into default.
Let me kind of reiterate this because if you haven't been through the legal process, it's hard to understand this, folks. So let me just reiterate. So basically, you know, Enrique is already dealing with the civil court and criminal court, two different things. He's dealing with it over what I think is total BS, these charges about a flag. So he's dealing with the civil courts. Then he has to deal with the criminal courts for January 6th. Yeah. So he's in a criminal court case. Now he's in prison. He can't appear in the civil court case. Now, normally what would happen is, you know, you'd be in touch with your lawyer, assuming you have a lawyer, a good lawyer. You'd be in touch with your lawyer. They'd say, hey, you need to appear in this case. And then you either will appear through the jail. They'll either put you on a video, or the other trial will say, you can just have a lawyer appear since you're in jail, and we'll just have your lawyer appear. So Enrique's sitting in here and they're saying, oh, he didn't appear. Well, he couldn't. He literally could not appear because he was dealing with the criminal court case. Now, Enrique, it sounds to me when we were discussing this earlier, I think they know all of this. I think that they were trying to use this against you. They never gave you a fair trial. They never planned on giving you a fair trial. And so they kind of said, oh, we've got him right now. Let's just use this against him and try to get a judgment.
Yeah. And they got the judgment. So now I'm in the state where I have to pay for what originally was probably like a $70 banner. I got to pay $3.1 million for it. So they know they can't get it. So you know what? And I know I don't have the money to pay for it. So I freely in September gave them all my financials, my bank accounts, my Cash App, all those money transfer apps.
Yeah,
and
well,
they saw
net worth discovery is a really fun thing, isn't it, Enrique?
oh, it's great. It's great. And I thought it would, I didn't really think it would end there. A typical person would think it ends there. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give them the financials and they're going to ask for more shit. So I give them the financials, and instead of asking for more, they're like, well, something's off here. He's traveling. Where's he getting the money from? You know what we got to do? Let's put in a motion to confiscate his phone. They know that I don't have the money. So their entire deal with this is to get to my phone, to be able to get like my contacts, to see who I'm talking to, and to even what I think is to use it. Let's say in the next administration, let's say it's a liberal. They'll give that phone. They'll leak my phone to the Department of Justice, and suddenly, not only me, but many others will be in jail. Not because I'm doing anything, because the first thing people say, well, if you're not doing anything wrong, there's nothing to worry about. Well, there was nothing. I didn't do anything wrong on January 6th.
Yeah, it's
and
like,
I still got 22 years.
Yeah, wait till you learn that the hard way.
Yeah. So I already knew that. I'm like, so I show up to court on video court, because I'd never go to DC for this court because I already know what they're trying to do. And I'm like, Your Honor, listen, I don't need to do the motions. I don't need to do anything. I'm not giving you my phone. I'm not giving it to a magistrate judge. I'm not giving it to a third party in Israel. And I'm not giving it to this law firm, and I am not giving it to this church, because that's what they did last time. So with my phone specifically, what they did is for January 6th, the NSA couldn't break into my phone, right? They sent it to the NSA and they sent it back, and they're like, "Oh, we can't get it."
Because it's an iPhone.
So yeah, because it's an iPhone. If it's an Android, they get it almost instantly. So there's this company called Celebrite, and Celebrite is based in Israel, and that company is the only company in the world that has a backdoor to iPhones. So it took them about a year to crack into my iPhone after sending it there. And that's how they got all that evidence.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So check it out.
I'm not
giving them.
Can I avoid it? Good Lord.
I try to avoid it. I try not to talk about it, but it's always like when I learned, I was like, wait, what do you mean? Where did my phone go? They're like, oh, they had to send it overseas. Overseas where? So the company has a backdoor, and they don't want to give that backdoor to the United States government, including like top intelligence agencies don't know how to crack this. It's only them that has it. They have to desolder the chip, and they have their process of doing it. I researched it a little bit. So I'm not giving them this is the deal. I'm not giving them my phone. There's nothing that they could do. There's no amount of jail time that they could give me. I'm not giving them my phone, because they could get things that you've deleted off your phone. Encrypted messaging they can't get to. If it's deleted, they can't get to it. But I'm not saying that I'll delete anything, but I'm not giving them my phone, Owen. There's no realm. There's no possibility of me giving them my phone.
Well, let me say something from my point of view, and then you can, you can either share similar experiences or, elaborate more on why you're making this decision. There was a big fuss when they hauled me in for January 6th. There was a big fuss, and you know what it's like when you're going through the procedures and the different back and forth and arm twists and everything else. And so as we're going through this, the feds, essentially, there was a deal offered, let's say. And basically it was, all right, you're going to turn over me. I'm going to turn over all of my electronic devices, my electronic data, whatever it is that the feds wanted. And they were essentially going to say, okay, we're not going to push for jail time when we get in front of the judge. We're going to tell the judge, hey, he cooperated, whatever. We made these requests. he fulfilled his side of it where we don't want to push for jail time. And so that was the agreement. And, my perspective at the time, and I don't think I made a mistake. People can judge me for it. That's fine. My perspective at the time was, A, I don't want to go to prison, but B, I had nothing to hide. And so to me, it was like proof of innocence. To me, it was like, yeah, here's proof of innocence. Here, have my phones, have my email, have whatever you want, go through the whole thing, and you'll see there was no big plan. I was not a part of some scheme. Alex Jones was not a part of some scheme. Go ahead, have it all. And the deal was, okay, you cooperate, and when we get in front of the judge, we'll say no jail time. So, okay, I stay out of because they were pushing for 20 years at this time. They wanted to put me in for 20 years. And so it was like, yeah, okay, you don't push for jail time. Here, go through all the electronic data. And so for me, it was like, it's a win-win. I have total proof of innocence and I stay out of prison. Well, of course, ultimately, they still took the phones. They kept them for years, took all the electronic data, everything. None of it was ever used in any court case, any trial, in anything, because there was nothing there. And then they ended up putting me in prison anyway. So the two lessons that we learned was, one, if you're going to get a deal with the feds, that better be in writing. That mother better be in writing and signed and sealed. Otherwise, it don't mean crap to them. They will lie to you. And two, okay, now that the trust is gone, why would I ever cooperate with you guys? It's like, hey, I don't mind cooperating if we're looking for a good outcome. But if you're not trustworthy, then it's like, what's the point of me cooperating? There is no point at that junction. So that was kind of my experience. Sounds like you're going through a similar process, except now you have the experience to say, hey, I know how this goes.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's the difference. There, when they unlocked my phone and they arrested me, because they arrested me right after they unlocked my phone, I was like, okay, perfect. I mean, let's pull up all these messages and show you that we didn't plan it. Right. But it didn't matter to them. And they didn't really need, let's be honest, they didn't really need all that evidence. All they needed was that jury. Right. They didn't even have to present a case. They're like, congratulations, I present to you the Proud Boys, and they're going to go guilty down the.
You never had the shot at a fair trial because they publicly executed you in the media.
Yeah. But the phone, they didn't let us use some messages because since one of us didn't send it out, it's hearsay and we can't put that guy on the stand. So it kind of screwed us over, and it kind of screwed over a lot of my guys, right, that I was in there with, because we couldn't even, we wanted to use it and we couldn't use it, right? But through that, they gained access through to our Telegram apps and things like that. So it isn't my first rodeo. This is my second rodeo. So I already know what the play is here. They're going to go grab something. They're going to get it out of context. They're going to wait till the next DOJ comes in, and then they're going to put us in chains. But they're going to do it in the opposite way, Owen, because when Merrick Garland was picking people up, they started with people that just walked into the Capitol, right? And then they worked their way up the chain. And right at the end, when they saw Trump was going to run for office, that's when they went ahead and they're like, okay, we got to indict this guy. And they went for him. They're going to do the opposite this time. On January 20th of 2029, when Trump leaves the White House, it's going to take less than 30 to 60 days to put him back in prison. And then after they get him, they're going to get the rest of us again. And I'm not giving them ammo to do that because, again, there is no magistrate. The judge is like, oh, we could give it to a magistrate judge. Oh, no, we could give it to a third-party company. Oh, we could give it to the church. We could give it to this law firm, this Paul Weiss law firm. All of them are going to leak it. Every single one is going to leak it to the government. And I'm not doing that.
Why do they even want this? What does this have to do with your civil case?
Because somehow there is, in this device right here, there's financial information of some sort. They can't believe I'm that broke.
Okay.
But you can't gate. You can't gate. You can't go ahead and be like, okay, well, let's extract the information and let's just pull out the financial. No, you can't do that. You got to clone the whole thing.
Well, they could if they wanted. If they wanted to do that, they could.
Technically, yes. But when you clone it, it's one file. So the whole phone comes in. So who receives that file, right? Is it a magistrate judge? Is it a master? Is it a third-party company? At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. I'm not giving it to them because none of them are trustworthy.
This story is insane. And
And they could hold me indefinitely. They could hold me indefinitely.
Well, here's where the rubber meets the road. They don't technically have the jurisdiction outside of DC. So, what do you really think, though? Are they going to send the squad after you?
So the judge said it herself there, that she says, well, this is only for DC, but already an hour after court, we see that the proposed order that's from the plaintiff. So the judge doesn't type the order. She asks the plaintiff to type an order for her, and she signs off on it. On that order, they invoke the U.S. Marshals and their ability to enter any jurisdiction in the United States. So it is possible if she signs this order, or if this order somehow changes, yes, they could come get me wherever they want and hold me again. I'm going to say this again, indefinitely.
And they would hold you in the DC gulag, wouldn't they?
They would hold me in the DC gulag. Yes.
The worst.
And I see a lot of people in the comments saying, well, destroy the phone. Well, listen, we're on a live here. I can't, it's illegal for me to destroy the evidence and take away the phone, yada, yada. I get it. They're never going to get my phone. Let's start with that. That's what I started with. That's what I'm finishing with. I'll go to jail if I have to.
Well, this is what the crazy part is. To go back, because we almost get lost in the sauce of this, but to go back at the beginning, this is all about a Black Lives Matter flag that probably cost $30 that you didn't even burn. You don't have to comment. You don't need to comment. I said it. Okay? I said it. And now they want you for millions of dollars that you don't have, and they're trying to insinuate that you're doing something you're not doing again.
Yeah. Well, technically, you're right. I didn't burn this banner, right? The banner I'm being sued for. There's two incidents. There's a banner burning, and then this other church that all their banners, some Trump supporters passed by and pulled down a BLM banner. And that's the one I'm being sued for. But I didn't know nothing about this church. This church to me never existed. I didn't even know it existed. And that's the one they're suing me for.
Can Trump pardon you?
No, because it's a private entity that's suing an individual, right? The church is suing me. So there's no government involvement besides the arbiter, which is the judge.
So because it's a civil court in private parties, he can't help you.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he could, technically. This Paul Weiss firm
cut you a check.
Yeah. Here's $3.5 million.
Yeah. Get off his back.
Yeah. So
they need a lot of support right now. They could buy you out. You could be a big top supporter.
I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. I hope Trump, if you're watching this, please just send me the check. Regardless of the fact, this firm is the same firm. So me and Trump are co-defendants in another civil case. And it's a case between the Capitol Police officers and the members of Congress. And they're suing us. And guess what the firm is? It's the Paul Weiss firm is also suing us. In the InfoWars case, guess who was representing the Sandy Hook victims? Paul Weiss. They have a history of doing this. They have a history of weaponizing their firm. They're one of the biggest firms in New York City.
You don't need to tell me. Me and Elon Musk have to deal with the same people here.
Yes.
So yeah, this is they have their same. Well, let's not go too deep down that rabbit hole for this period of time. Well, I just saw your story and I said I can't let this go uncovered. I can't stay silent on this. Anytime our fellow J6 political prisoners, anytime the same people that have been politically persecuted by the same groups are dealing with a new legal development, we'll always give you the airtime to at least let people know what's going on. So that's what we wanted to do here today. So anything else you need the people to know before we let you go?
I think everybody should be mindful of not this administration, like obviously the DOJ hasn't done shit. But I think that you should worry about the next one. The next one is when we're going to really shit's going to hit the fan on the next one. Because of the inaction of some of his appointees, the Department of Justice, the FBI. You know, I wish, look, Owen, I wish, you know what would fix everything? We got to bring Dan Bongino back. We got to bring Dan Bongino back, and he's got to work his magic to get these arrests, because he was so good. He was so great in those 10 months that he was the FBI deputy director. Maybe bringing him back now, things will get done. I'm not happy with hardly anybody in this. Is it better than the first one? I'd say yes. But I'm not happy with hardly any of the important ones, the AG, the FBI, none of those. I'm not happy with any of those. And we're going to suffer for it. We're going to suffer for it, because what's coming, the boomerang, when that comes back, it's going to smack us in the face. So I hope everybody's ready for that.
I completely agree. And, you know, we're the ones that experienced it. We're literally the ones that went through it before. And so it's kind of like you trust the people that have been there to tell you what's going on. And so I hope this administration figures it out, but they don't realize they're going to be in the crosshairs too. It's like, if we can somehow get them to understand, hey, you're going to be next to us in the next go around. It's not just going to be the people that you can slough off and not care about and go home and do your Fox News gigs. We'll be sharing a 100-calorie meal for lunch. So we'll be
in those gallows. And when they put that noose around my neck, the people next to me, they're going to be crying. And you know what I'm going to be doing? I'm going to be smiling, because I can't. Time? Yeah, exactly. First time.
It'll be like the meme. All right. Enrique Dario, God bless, brother.
All right, brother. Appreciate you.
Yep. All right, there goes Enrique. So like I said, guys, anytime our friends are dealing with the political persecution, we'll always give them the time. That's just always going to be something I'll be committed to. All right. Got about a half hour left. Still with some news to cover. A lot of super chats to get to. We'll do it all. We will do it all. Oh, you know what though? This is where let's just start getting to it. We may have to sideline some of it for the sake of time. Netanyahu testimony in corruption trial tomorrow canceled. So he's been able to avoid this stuff. Netanyahu's been able to avoid the corruption trial, everything else that's going on in Israel with the protests and the Knesset. The problem is, every time this happens and he misses his trial for whatever reason, somebody gets bombed. Okay? So, you follow the patterns here. Prime Minister Netanyahu's scheduled testimony tomorrow in his criminal corruption trial has been canceled. According to the court, they did not provide a reason. Netanyahu regularly cuts short or cancels his court appearances due to diplomatic developments, overseas travel, or important meetings. So this obviously has something to do with the ongoing war. It could be anything. It could be as inconsequential as Netanyahu going to finalize the final remains of the final hostage and do a ceremony and meet those people. Or it could be he told the court, hey, we're getting ready to run a military operation in Iran. I need to focus on that. But that's usually the trend here, is whenever he cancels and gets out of having to go to court again, somebody gets bombed. So it's always a nice little distraction. Meanwhile, telling you folks, the midterms, it's going to be unavoidable on the left and the right. Cory Booker gives a speech and gets disrupted by a fake Netanyahu.
Please keep funding our genocide. Thank you, America. Oh, wow.
Now, again, I anticipate this to be the theme for 2026 in the midterms. It might be the theme. It will be a theme. It might be the theme. But I just got to say something, guys. I feel like they planned that and let that happen. How can you have a protester walk onto the stage uninterrupted for that long? Am I crazy here, or did they say, hey, we're letting him do this? Because it's like, how do you have your cake and eat it too? How do you have your cake with AIPAC and then eat it too? So it's like, okay, we take the AIPAC money and then we use it to get elected, but we really don't like Israel or Netanyahu. So we're going to use these moments to make Netanyahu or AIPAC, or to make it look like, hey, we're still against Israel, even though we take their money. And you can even see Booker kind of look back and he's like, oh, he's kind of like, oh, yeah. He never felt threatened. Are you kidding me, folks? If I have an event on a stage like that, little old me, if I have an event on a stage like that, I'm having security. And let me tell you, somebody comes on the stage, they're getting tackled. Well, maybe not tackled. It depends. I guess it depends on who my security is that day. But you're not getting that close to me. That's little old me. That's just little old me. That's a sitting senator, and they just let the guy walk on stage uninterrupted and do that whole presentation. They let that happen, folks. So I'm telling you, this it's going to be the season. It's going to be the season. And I guess that's the choice, is you can either directly confront AIPAC, or you can indirectly and have protests going on and just let it happen as a backdrop and just, take AIPAC's money and say, oh, I didn't do it. But really, it's a wink and a nod, and you green light it. That's how it goes. Did you know there was a professor in Israel who got arrested and sent to solitary confinement for speaking out about Gaza?
I was fired, arrested, and jailed for 4 days in solitary confinement in a high-security prison. For what? For posting about civilians killed in Gaza. I am Meir Baruchin, a history and civics teacher in Tel Aviv. Growing up, I was taught the Zionist claim of a land without people for people without land. I learned of Arabs either as evil and dangerous or as ridiculous and stupid. I didn't know any Arabs, and I never learned about the Nakba. After these charges were dropped and I returned to teach at my school, some students refused to attend my class. Others cursed me or spat at me or on the ground in front of me. Today, most of my students are respectful and are even willing to listen to what I have to say about what we are doing in Gaza, something they refused to do previously. Education provides an opportunity for Israelis to recognize Palestinian suffering and their history. Through education, we can write a new story of Palestinian and Jews who can live in this place in equality and dignity. But first, Israel must stop this genocide.
So you have to understand, and this is why Israel spends so much time and money and effort propagandizing the American people. Israel has lost a lot of the hearts and minds of the Israelis, folks. A lot of the Israelis, the Knesset, the IDF, they've turned against Netanyahu. They see the larger plan. It's just like us. They have their own deep state. But they don't want you to know about that. They don't talk about the protests in Israel. They don't cover Netanyahu's trials. They don't cover that story and all the other stories like it, because they want you to think that Israel is somehow a united front. They're all victims. They're all in this. And it's just not true. So that's why they spend so much money, time, and effort on propagandizing the American people. But they're losing that as well. They're losing that battle as well. And it only goes one direction. But you have to be concerned, as they're losing this battle, as they're losing the hearts and minds, what are they going to do to try to get some leverage? What are they going to do to try to get an edge? Because they're not going to stop. They're going for the land. They're going for everything. Whatever the final agenda is, they're going for broke, folks. They're not going to stop. And I think that it's pretty clear at this point, they don't care who dies in the process. They don't care. And because of it, a lot of Israelis are fleeing the country. And so then they have to deal with this. Now, this is at the airport in Poland. A Polish man sees some Israeli Jews here and doesn't take too kindly.
Israel, come back Israel. No here. No here. No here.
אל תחזיר לו.
קלמוי ותפריטו את זה. What? This is fine. What is this? You quiet. You fucking Israel. No. This is my country. We only Poland. Why you come in this Poland? Why? My country. No. You, this is Poland.
So here's what's going on. And it's likely that those Orthodox Jews are probably against Netanyahu. It's likely that those Orthodox Jews from Israel are against the Zionists. In fact, some of the biggest protests Israel has ever seen is the Orthodox Jews that are protesting against conscription and against the Netanyahu regime that is making life in Israel more dangerous for all Israelis. So they're fleeing. So that's what's happening. You have Jews fleeing Israel. You have Israelis fleeing Israel because they don't feel safe there, whether they're Orthodox and they don't want to go into the military, or they're just Israelis and they fear that Netanyahu's foreign policy is going to get them bombed by Iran or somebody else. So they're leaving. See, that's another part the Western media leaves out. Israelis are fleeing Israel, folks. They're fleeing. So then you have these other countries, European countries, Western countries, and they're like, hey, we got our own problems. You guys create problems in the Middle East, and then you flee to our country, and you bring your problems here, and they don't want it, and they get mad. And so this is the thing. This is not going to stop. This is not going to stop. Now, Poland may be one of the worst examples of it, but this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So these Western countries, they see their leadership totally sold out to Israel. They all go kiss the wall. They all tell you how Israel's problems are the most important. And Europeans and Westerners are saying, what about us? What about our country? What about our heritage? They're told not to care. It's all about them. And then Orthodox Jews are going to show up. And it's not like, the Orthodox Jews actually wear the garb and you can see, it's like, yeah, those are Jews. Most of them travel around. They're not, you don't know whether they're Jewish or European or anything. So it's the Orthodox Jews that aren't even Zionists, that don't even like Netanyahu. They're going to have to deal with this hatred, deal with this backlash. But that's what it is. And this is what people are sick of. And they say, oh, so that's the attitude, is you guys stir up a bunch of trouble, and then you go and you bring that trouble to our countries. Well, we already have our own problems. And even though these Orthodox Jews have nothing to do with it, they aren't in the IDF, they don't support Netanyahu, they protest Netanyahu, it won't matter. They're out there actually physically representing Israel in the eyes of these people that don't know any better. And then, the people that are actually causing the problems, they're not dressed like that. Let's try to move on here and get to the super chats. Here you go, guys. Jewish man charged over alleged threats to kill minority group. It's an interesting headline, but no. They found out, and there have been hundreds of these cases, they found out that the anti-Semitic threats, the anti-Semitic phone calls that were being made came from a Jewish person. And then here's the quote from the actual police chief. Let me see if I can find it here. He couldn't believe it. I can't find the actual quote, but he was shocked when he found out he was Jewish, because he was the one spewing anti-Semitic remarks, anti-Semitic threats, and then they found him, and he was shocked. He was like, I couldn't believe it. We found him, and he was Jewish. Okay. I don't know why you're shocked, but there you go. You know, we mentioned the cybersecurity stuff earlier. There seems to be a trend here, guys. Cyber CEO found guilty of statutory rape, assaulted children as young as 4 years old on several occasions. Levi engaged in different kinds of non-consensual sexual activity with minors, the details of which are laid out in the prosecutor office's statement. This guy was the CEO of a cyber company, found guilty of committing several offenses against minors aged 4 to 12, pled guilty, only got 10 years in prison. Multiple rape of minor, only 10 years. Well, whatever. This is all happening in Israel. Now, here's what's crazy about this stuff. This is not the first individual connected to an Israeli cyber intelligence company that's been found with these crimes. Of course, there was the famous one here in America that he got caught. They sent him back to Israel. He's never going to be prosecuted. He's never going to go to jail. You know, I wonder, you know, you talk about, it's like, okay, priests get caught with this stuff. They get access to kids. You have these different elements where it's like, how do you get, it's like, if you're one of these creeps, you get access to kids. It's like, how do you do it? Maybe you work at a cyber intelligence company. You get back doors into children's cameras, bedrooms, whatever else is going on. And I got extra suspicious because it turned out a lot of these VPNs that were getting marketed in the talk radio circuit in conservative circles, it turned out they were all run by Israeli intelligence too. So it's like, are these VPNs actually guarding you and keeping your internet privacy, or are they actually there to spy on you and then eventually be used against you? A lot of weird stuff that goes on in that cyber security space, folks. A lot of weird stuff. So you just gotta be aware of it. All right, I told you we had some Russia, but not the way you think. So here's Russia. They got 2 feet of snow. I'm sorry. Excuse me. Russia got 8 feet of snow. Russia got 8 feet of snow and nobody lost power. We got 2 feet of snow. Almost 1 million people lost power. You know, we should learn something from the Russians. We should bring the Russians over here and say, how can we secure our power grid so that when it snows, we don't lose power? Because the Russians seem to figure it out. They seem to have it going on. 8 feet, didn't lose power. Pretty amazing stuff. All right, we're going to have to skip this one for today. We can hold that one off till tomorrow. We can hold that one off till tomorrow too. So let's do this. Let's go to the super chats. We can't do bonus time today. We got a debate coming up tonight. So as we always do here to close the show, let's go to our super chats. All right, guys. Remember, if you want to get your chat read on the show, you have to go to the show, watch the show, follow the show on YouTube. Please give us a subscription there, and we read all of the YouTube super chats right here. Bob Bickerstaff starts us off. Free Enrique Tario. Let's hope he stays free. Carol Sanderson. System of a Down, Sick New World. Only 2 U.S. states, Las Vegas and Fort Worth, in October of this year, huh? That's one on my bucket list. System of a Down is on my bucket list. I think, Carol, maybe it's time for me to check that one off. They're coming to Texas. Owen Schroyer's wifey. Even the normies at work know this snow is sus. I just had somebody send me. They took a ball of snow and put it in their fireplace and it didn't melt. I'll probably post that video on X. I mean, what in the hell is that, guys? I have the video. It was sent to me in the show. I'll probably post it on X. They put a ball of snow in the fireplace. It has a live fire, and it doesn't melt. Yeah. Who knows? Bob Eggers, that free Tina Peters. Amen. Free Tina Peters. Amen to that. Bliss Girl, glad I found this channel. Thank you. I'm glad you found it too. Welcome to the show. Live 3 to 6 p.m. Central Time weekdays. Appreciate that. Follow us on X too. Owen Schroyer 1776. Welcome to Electric Boogaloo. Who is going to help the people organize under the Second Amendment? The polls likely won't work, and our backup doesn't feel organized enough. Militia, where? Mm-hmm. Well, you'll be infiltrated by feds, and then they'll arrest all of you for, daring to do that. So I don't know. I don't have the answer. Jeff Adar, proud of you, brother. Keep going on podcast and collab for the world to see. We need men like you teaching others about the Israel takeover. Definitely the number one story, the number one phenomenon people are talking about. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We'll be debating that tonight, I'm sure, after the show. Tay from Florida. Lectern guy passed through Seattle. He followed me on X. Well, I saw you shared the show with him, and I think he tuned in today, so I appreciate that. Texas Hammer 777. They can't arrest Mayorkas because he's Jewish. Well, I don't think that's technically true. I don't think there's a law against arresting him for that reason. You might, I guess you believe that that's the reason, but I want the answer. That's why I say, let's ask and answer. I want the answer. Why haven't we arrested Mayorkas? So that's what Texas Hammer thinks. Repeal the 19th, at least temporarily. Well, look, I'm not a big repeal the 19th guy, but I will say, two things, actually. Let me say two things. Under the originalist Constitution, yeah, you're not voting. You're not voting. Secondly, if we want to solve our problems politically, repeal the 19th. Simple. If women don't vote, Democrats will never win another election. So if you want to stop the Democrats, if you want to stop liberals and progressives from getting political power, all you do is repeal the 19th. If women stopped voting, there would never be another Democrat. So it would be a solution. La Bellissima Estate. Hi again, Owen. You told us last week you've never had communications with Matt Walsh. Would you ever collab with him? By the way, I shared your podcast with my brother, and now he's a big fan of the show. Hey, thank you for that. I appreciate that. Most people, they tune in, they like it. Most people find us, and then they stick around. So I do appreciate that. Hi to your brother. I would definitely do a collab with Matt Walsh. But he might not be allowed to do one with me as long as he's at the Daily Wire. So we'll keep an eye on that. Jennifer K. Pam Bondi has got to go. She's an embarrassment. I'm sorry to the ladies. I'm a big fan of the ladies. We're a lover of ladies here. We don't do that. We don't attack the ladies. We love the ladies here. We're big fans of the ladies. All the women out there listening, we love you. Huge fan of women on this show. I know a lot of other people on the right, the dissident right, the red pill, whatever, they're kind of anti-women. We don't do that here. We love women. We like being around women. We like women being around and making babies and loving on everybody. Big fan of women. You won't get any anti-woman stuff here. But the bimbos got to go. The bimbos got to go. Get them out. Real Emperor Palpatine. It's the Owen Bongino excuse-making show. What excuses am I making? I need an example. Owen Bongino, huh? I don't know. I don't like that. Not a fan. Prime Mover. Only took 45 minutes to clean ice off my windshield. We ended up with about an inch of ice here. It's melting today. Oh, don't even get me started on what happens in Austin when there's ice. It's like people become retards. It's like really weird, man. I don't get it. I really don't get it. I'm going to share that video of the snow not melting in a damn fireplace. It's so me, guy. The protesters I've seen, 90% of them are white women. You know what? I haven't really analyzed it like that as far as Minnesota is concerned, but that does seem to be a trend. But remember, when they were doing the Elon Musk protest, it was all old people. It was all 60 and over people. So they definitely have a target demographic that they try to get out to these protests. White liberal women, man. Something wrong with them. Shanty hum. I'm not offended at all, Owen. Get them the hell out. Thank you. Thank you. About the bimbos. Hello, Kitty. It's not a good look to be pushing up daisies. Hi, chat and Owen. We do like daisies, though. We just don't want to be pushing daisies, but we do like the daisies. The left, let's unite and come together as they plan to poison you and ice behind our back. Yeah, there's no uniting with these people. That's why it's like, hey, look, the first lady coming out and saying it. Okay, hey, you know what? It's good optics. You can say we did it, fine. But let's not live in delusion land here. These people aren't uniting with us. They're not uniting with ICE. They want no interest. They want you dead. But I don't even care. The street vermin, I don't care about the street vermin. I'm so over the street vermin. That was so 10 years ago, bro. The street vermin left, that's 10 years old, man. Now we should be going after the funders and the organizers. That's why they're so late to everything. That's why they always lose. Corpse Mankind, is that Donkey Kong? Did we play Donkey Kong today? We did add some new music to the rotation today. I didn't see. I think yes, we did add Donkey Kong to the rotation today. You nailed it. I am being validated. Can y'all see my messages? Yes, we can. Hello, Kitty. I just don't read super chats till after at the end of the show is when we do super chats. So that's why it takes a while for us to get there. We don't do it live. We do it after the show. Or I don't do it when you send it. I do it at the end of the show, to be clear. YouTuber 209. Trump, what happens when you try black and go back? I don't know what that means. Did he date a black lady? Is that what you're saying? No idea. Judd Tebow Parker. Sell supplements so I don't have to buy from Alex. We had a bit of a fun one with that. Was that yesterday? I think that was either yesterday or Friday. We had a fun one with that. That was Friday. We had a fun one with that. Okay, well, I'll do a little tease here. As I said Friday about that, the thing with selling supplements is there's two things. Well, there's more than two things, but let me tell you. One, you have to have capital. So you have to spend a bunch of money to purchase the ingredients, whatever, bottling it, labels, everything. So you have to have the capital to have a supplement to sell. And then there's other issues you deal with on the back end when it comes to insurance and other type of stuff. I said on Friday, when we dealt with that issue, I said I worked with my team and we put the pedal to the metal. We will be announcing, I'll go ahead and say it, we will be announcing 2 supplements, hopefully by the end of February. We will be announcing 2 supplements that we will be selling, proprietary supplements, my own proprietary ingredients, my own proprietary supplements. We will have 2 of them, hopefully by the end of February. One, I think it's safe to say, definitely by the end of February. The other one, it's going to require a little extra work, because here's what happens when people do supplements. A couple things. They either try to cut corners with quality and cost or timing. And so ultimately the formulas have to be remade and rebranded and remade and rebranded. So when you see that stuff, it's because they're trying to rush something. They're trying to rush something to sell instead of making sure they have the right product that they ultimately will land on. So I'm not doing that here. I'm saying the one product I don't think is going to matter. I think the one product will be able to launch by the end of February. I think it's going to be perfect right out of the gates. I have no doubt. The second product is probably going to take a little more time to perfect. And I'm not going to put it up. I'm not going to put it to market until it's the final product. So we're not going to do that here. I'm not going to rush a product out there that either I don't like. I'm not going to rush a product out there for time or whatever, anything like that. I'm going to do it right once, and then it's going to be done. So one of the products we're going to have might take a little longer, but one of the supplements I think will be ready to go by the end of February. No, we're working on. I'm hoping they both can be done by February, but definitely one by the end of February, and then maybe one by the end of March. So, but that's why these things do take time, and I'm not rushing them. My supplements, proprietary supplements that I make and that I sell, are going to be perfect, exactly how I want them before they hit the market. No renaming, no regrouping, not doing that. One perfect supplement to the market. So there you go. I feel the urge to speak out more and more. The fact that I am scared too is a problem. Not sure what that is in reference to. Scared? What are you scared of? How does the saying go? The only thing to fear is fear itself. Will you be able to handle the snow, Tay-Tay? Well, apparently it's coming to Florida. Captain Hard, I tried the same thing and got the same results with the snow. The real question is, we know our government and the higher ups are evil, but what is the solution to fix things? Well, we thought, Trump was going to get in there and drain the swamp and arrest the deep state. So we thought that was the political option. And now we're, seeing if that's going to be the case or not and regrouping in the process. Do you have any thoughts about why Nick Fuentes, despite being at J6 with a bullhorn, didn't do any jail time like you did? I don't want to get into a long-winded answer. I'm not that suspicious of it at all, to be honest with you, because, Nick deals with a lot of suspicion, conspiracies about him, whatever. And so, you can leave that up to your own conclusions. As far as the January 6th thing, folks, it's like this. And I already said this. Nick was not the only journalist that was there that day that did not get arrested. There were dozens, okay? There were dozens of journalists that were there that day that went into the Capitol that didn't get arrested. There were dozens of journalists that day that broke Capitol grounds and didn't get arrested. There were dozens of them. Now, as far as why they went after me and nobody else, I can only guess. And my guess is, I think there's two reasons. The reason they went after me, one, is because I am one of the few people in media, maybe the only one, except Laura Loomer, who, by the way, she didn't get the same treatment I got either, by the way. But the only other person that has stood up in front of the Democrats and called them out to their face in the media is Laura Loomer, who, the Laura Loomer today, let's say, is different than the Laura Loomer from 2 administrations ago. Okay. But no, Laura Loomer is the only other member in the media that went to Congress, went to D.C., stood up in front of the Democrats during their shams and called them out right to their face. She is the only other one, to her credit. Now, she didn't deal with the persecution and the jail time and everything else. So really, if you're looking for a compare and contrast, she's probably the better one to look at if you want to do a compare and contrast on an Owen Schroyer case. So I think they made an example out of me because I had the balls to go out there and say it right to their face that they were committing treason. Because I had the balls to go out there right to their people, right to their faces, and call them out right there face to face. I think that's why they made examples out of me. To show anybody else, if you dare go in front of our people, if you dare go and shut our stuff down, we're coming after you. That's what I think the main thing was. They're scared of a million Owen Schroyers. So they had to make an example out of me. But I also think they wanted to go through my phones to try to find any other communications I had with either Alex Jones or anybody else out there to try to find incriminating evidence, which I knew I didn't have, so I had no problem turning over. Your social media girl is my biggest op. Boy. All right. I don't know what that means. I'm not sure I want to. Libertarian Goth. Hi, Cap. Insert creepy, smirking flesh creature. Oh. Okay. Nordic. Get used to it. Jordan Walker. Owen, can you please go for the Jewish haircut? I don't think so. I don't think I could pull that one off. I'd have to. Now, my hair does get curly. You can kind of see in the back. The flow, and then it goes into some curls in the back. But I don't have it like that on the side. I don't have any chosen people blood in me. I'm sorry. None. So can't pull it off. LA Patriot. Did Trump just take a dump on the Second Amendment, telling reporters that Alex Preddy shouldn't have been carrying a gun? What crap. Complete slop. Yeah, well, Kash Patel said the same thing. And then Caroline Levitt goes in front of the press yesterday. There's never been a more pro-Second Amendment administration. There's never been a more pro-Second Amendment president. It's like, just stop. Just stop with the slop. Stop lying to us. Karina Hall, go Max tonight, Owen. We'll see what happens. I got to be honest. I'm not sure what to expect tonight. You know, I'm sure. Do you think Shabos is tuned in doing his prep for the debate? See, I don't do debate prep. I just show up. My debate prep is I just live. I'm just alive. So that's what I do. So I just had a normal work day, business all day, do a 3-hour show, and then I walk onto a debate stage. Kestenbaum, though, I hope for his sake, is doing a lot of prep. Because that's what happens when I do these debates. I do a whole day of work and then a live show and then go do a debate. Still come out all right. It's like starting the Royal Rumble #1 and being the last man in the arena. Makes me feel good. We need more tortoise content. Well, he's brumating. He's sleeping, so there's not much there. Alex McCarthy, big shout out. One of my high school buddies. Alex, you going to be around when I do the homecoming episode this year? You better be. Owen is one of the few political creators who can put on a daily live show for 3+ hours by himself. Respect. Hey, guys, listen to this. Since Alex weighs in today. Went to high school with Alex. Went to 4 pro-life marches with Alex. We even lived together for a couple of months. But listen to this. In high school, and this is why I want to do, I don't know, should I spoil this right now? Well, whatever, we'll do it again. I'll do a spoiler for people that want to hear this. When I do the homecoming episode, Alex, I assume you'll be there. Guys, listen to this. When I was in high school, for those that don't know, I say this every once in a while, but for those that don't know, when I was in high school, I was an athlete, big into sports, and basically, Alex might have been there with me for this. I can't remember, but it was my class. We had a TV production class, and we started what is now the morning news. I started that. Me and my TV production class. What was the name of that teacher? I forget his name. Dark hair, kind of a bigger guy. But we started the morning news that still runs at my high school to this day. We started it. I was also the senior editor for the Turret. That was the name of the school paper. But I was doing sports stuff. Now, Alex was big into politics. And you ask him. He used to, because I was always a big debater and passionate about this stuff. And he told me, you ask him, he told me in high school, he said, one day you're going to switch to politics from sports. And I laughed because I hated politics. I saw it as divisive and just, I was not interested. Well, Alex, here we are. Assault Anakin. The music is great. Why does everyone hate on it? Well, they just don't have any taste, Ken Rose with a thumbs up. Thank you, man. Scotty Gesso, final chat of the show today. I've been spreading this truth for 30 years. We are very close to winning. Only pure truth can get us there. We are at 95%, only 5% more to expose. All right, heavy stuff. Quite a journey then, huh? Quite a journey, huh? All right, guys. All right. So, the Owen Report. The Owen Report. We'll take a 21-hour break. And we'll be back tomorrow. But in less than 1 hour, I will be right back in this studio debating Shabbos Kestenbaum. I'm calling it America first versus Israel first, but we'll see what happens. Shabbos is a smart guy. He's a good debater. He's really passionate about the things he thinks and he feels. We'll see where it goes. It's going to be moderated by Adam King, who I think will do a great job. He's moderated debates that I've been in before, and he always does a good job. And so I look forward to that. I think Adam will do a good job, and I think Kestenbaum will bring his A game. And I respect anybody that stands up and has a debate. I respect it. I love it, actually. And we need to be able to debate, and we need to be able to disagree, and then we need to be able to break bread afterwards and accept that we're all humans here. And in some way, shape, or form, we're going to have to share this planet, whether we like it or not. All right? So, Owen Report, 21-hour break, but I'll be right back in less than an hour. It's debate night. Follow on X, folks. I'll repost the debate on X at Owen Schroyer 1776. God bless and Godspeed.